No, not yet.
Okay, well, here, I got one more question while we're doing it.
No, we're good. I'm just never confident.
We're here?
Yeah,
we're here?
live.
Hi, Internet. Welcome.
Hello.
We're the Knights of the Drunk Watch, and I'm back.
Yay.
We're here doing stuff. What are we doing?
We are watching, or we rewatched season 7, and we're doing the entire season talkback.
Yeah, so we are really super excited because we are officially, what time is it? It's 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time right now, so we are officially
We're a week and
1
30
week
minutes.
and like an hour and a half away
Oh my gosh.
from seeing the Game of Thrones Season 8 premiere. Also, we have not watched the last 3 mini trailers that have launched, so we're going to be doing reactions for that in a little bit. There are 3 mini promos, Together, Survival, and Aftermath are the 3. If you haven't seen them, go check them out.
I was going to do introductions, but
Then Audie started speaking.
Well, no,
Sorry,
Andrew
we had
walked
stuff
away.
to. We had stuff to do.
A battery.
It's okay.
Hi, I'm Andrew.
I'm Audie,
I'm Mark.
I'm Kate.
I'm Thomas.
and
We are the Knights of the Drunk Watch.
and now our talk
talk
begins. Now, while Andrew goes and does his thing, I'd like to encourage you, first of all, if you're new to the channel, to subscribe, hit the notifications bell. We will be doing live stream reactions to Game of Thrones. The Knights will be here in full force. There's going to be a shit ton of us all screaming starting next week.
The dragon will be here next week.
And also,
He's upstairs.
Mark, you want to tell them a little bit about the feast you're preparing?
Oh, yes, I will be preparing a feast of ice and fire. It will have lots of things.
So
Tune
check
in
us
next week, and we'll show a little mini preview of the
Yeah.
feast we make.
Check us out on Instagram and Facebook. We'll be going live next week while he prepares this Feast of Ice and Fire. Also, follow us on Twitter and all our other various social media. We have a promotion going on for Patreon.
Yes.
Leading up to April 14th. You can give us what you find in your couch, and you get all sorts of fun exclusive content.
Well, not everything from your couch.
Well,
So
it's,
here's
no,
a
no,
big
just
change for anyone who's been watching us right now
Yes.
with our live chats. So I don't know. We're going to talk about it tonight, but if not starting next week, starting the week after for sure. I feel like the first one should be open.
yeah, we could do
Yeah.
the first
But,
one for open.
In order to participate in our live chats and chat with us while we're doing our talkbacks, you have to be a Patreon member, but only for $1 a month to become a Knight. Our chats will be on YouTube a few days later, so if you just want to watch them and see what we talk about for the show, you're free to wait for that. But if you want to participate with us live after we do our live stream of reaction, you will need to be a Knight to get that link.
Yeah, so.
Taco, if you look just a little bit harder, I bet you could find a whole $1 in there. He found a button in his couch.
Oh, no.
I'll take
Taco.
that.
I don't think we can PayPal that. I don't think it works that way. Anyway, so season 7. That's what you're here for, right? I haven't taken notes, so
Are prepared sometimes.
Well, because the thing about season 7 is that, as opposed to all the other seasons, we've seen this one the fewer amount of times.
Yeah.
This is
especially
true.
when we rewatch it. So it's.
I just wanted to watch it because the other ones I've
Yeah.
watched.
I was
like,
so
multiple
enthralled. I
times.
didn't take a whole bunch
This
of
was my
notes.
first time watching it since the first time.
Me
But
too.
because it was so awesome, I actually went back and I kind of rewatched the episodes the second time this week, and then I wrote some better notes.
Nerds. We're nerds. Okay, get us started then.
So, winter comes for House Frey.
Dragonstone's the episode.
Cold open that I missed.
Yeah, well, because we just saw Walder Frey die, and the last episode, suddenly he's back and he's toasting. He was like, come on, we knew it. And then we're just waiting for it to happen. He toasts, and
I did not catch it. If you guys watch our reaction for that one, I didn't catch it until somebody said it. I was all like, is this a flashback? What's happening?
No, it dawned on me because I was like, oh, they're picking up right where it left off the final season, and we're going to see something we didn't see. But sure enough, it was a whole nother, and he talks about his second feast.
Yeah.
Which is just complete bullshit. Everybody should have known.
Yeah, that's true. He doesn't, like, go out of his way to do nice things for his family.
and like,
And also-
all of them just drop dead.
He started calling himself out about it. He's like, I know you're thinking 2 feasts in 2 weeks. What do we do? Like, because Arya knows.
Granted,
he's an
Walder
asshole.
Frey doesn't do anything else but sit in that one spot and feast. That is all he's
And
done.
fuck his unusually young wives.
Yes.
Yeah, well,
To have more
Well, I love
children.
Arya has that moment of like, no, don't you drink it, little girl? And then he's like, oh, because
I would have
wanted
for
his
sure
wine."
gotten it then. If somebody hadn't said it in our group, I think that's the moment that it would have clicked for
But
me.
she also used the phrase, "Yeah, I don't want to waste my wine on women."
Yeah.
I mean, it was still afraid, like.
Yeah, but I feel like I would have.
Well, because she didn't want to give the game away until they had all drinking.
And it makes you wonder: was the actor pretending to be Arya, pretending to be Walder Frey,
Which is
or
fun.
you know, what was Arya literally giving him notes? This is how I would do it. This
Right.
Is how
I think. Well, once he starts talking about the wolves, you see that glimmer come over his
And that
face.
actor, it really is fantastic.
Yeah.
He has like
He
a
always
huge
plays
canon of
douchebags,
work
but I
behind
mean,
him.
he is a good actor.
In all fairness, like we know him as Filch and Walder Frey. He played a whole slew of characters since he was very, very young that were not all complete assholes. Please watch the rest of his filmography. I've seen some of them; they're great.
He's also Professor Satrakian from The Strain. He does a fantastic.
I did not watch that one, but I should. I feel like I wanted to watch it, but it seemed kind of gross. Anyways, next.
The walkers are approaching.
They have giants.
Spooky, spooky, spooky.
We were totally hoping to see like Hodor in that.
Okay,
Were we hoping though? Were
Well,
we?
wondering.
No.
Well, okay, hoping is the wrong word. Wondering.
He's there.
How about
but
that?
so I have
They
this.
ripped him to shreds.
I have this theory. No, he's for sure coming
You
back.
hope, and then that's bad.
No, he's coming back. No, I had this theory that what I think they did throughout this entire season leading up to, sorry, I'm going ahead, but leading up to the death of Viserion and the bringing back of Viserion, I know, we'll have our feelings later, but I think they start to establish like a set of rules. Yes, they can bring back giants. Then we see the polar bears. Yes, they can bring back animals.
Well, we saw horses.
Right.
And then
Bears.
we move, or bear, whatever. And then
Oh,
we move.
Giant bears.
Giant bear, and then we move to the dragon. So I
But
feel
not
like with
giant
the
spiders,
giants
They've
and
been
all
fighting
that,
dead horses for a long
Yeah.
time.
that and the horses was like the first thing. So I do feel like they're just creating this progression leading. So we're not all like, how the fuck did that happen? You
No,
know? And
no
I thought that was
question.
really smart story wise.
Come back.
They're at Castle Blackhead. Lets him in. Great.
Yeah,
Bran
cool.
gets to Castle Black. That's
Oh
fine.
yeah.
All right, well, and then down in Winterfell, Jon is starting to train everyone to fight, even the girls.
The girls.
Woman power.
Yes.
But you're a woman.
I wrote Lady Bear is gonna fight. This is
Yeah,
some
she's
reading
like,
stuff from a year and a half
She
ago.
is my
Honestly,
favorite
She
human.
needs to get a standoff against some whites. Like that would be.
I
a
better
huge
see some
payoff for her
awesomeness out of
character.
her. Like I'm ready.
Oh, she's gonna die.
I was gonna
for
say,
sure.
what if she does the childish thing and she freaks and she
Or runs
you
away.
know?
That would
I
be
don't
great.
think
That'd be
so.
amazing Game of Thrones
She's
stuff.
not going to do that.
Andrew's gonna be real disappointed. One jello shot for Andrew if that happens.
That
Gotta
girl,
start taking
girl,
these notes.
that girl's rock solid.
Well, and then they also start to introduce that the wildlings, like Tormund, is going to Eastwatch by the sea.
We're the Night's Watch now.
Yep. And then Sansa does the stupid thing and disagrees with Jon in front of everybody about whether or not to like destroy the castles of the men who fought for the
Yeah.
Boltons.
Okay, internet and Knights. How do you feel about that?
Well, I think that's just showing that Sansa
Kate,
and
how's the
Jon
internet
just
feeling?
aren't quite in sync
Oh,
yet.
jeez.
And my comment was that's what the small council is for. You have a small council so you can bitch these things out, and then you go out in front of everybody
Yeah. And then you
make
this
the
is what we
announcement.
decided.
It looks like Sansa's having some aspects of Cersei. She wants to destroy her enemies' keeps and strongholds right there, whereas Jon's like, no, there's a battle coming. People need places to stage that battle from. Why are we gonna?
Right.
He's
And
doing the
literally,
sensible commander
in
thing.
that episode, Sansa and Cersei say the exact same phrase. They both say something about their family, like "I love them, I did." They even say it exactly like that: "I love them, I did." But and
Yeah.
then one says they were stupid and lost their heads, and the other one
Sorry.
says something very
Right, that
similar.
tickled.
I like this sort of parallel that they're creating between the two because I like that you can't
she-
100% trust Sansa.
I know
Like,
there was
right? The whole
There-
She's
season
little
until the
finger.
end.
There have
I
been
still
lots
don't
of,
trust her.
There have been lots of
Really?
theories about Sansa's hair and how she wears it. Do you
Mm-hmm.
think the braid she was wearing that looked a bit like Cersei?
I
That's
thought
what
it
we
looked
said
like
last
Catelyn.
time.
I thought she had Catelyn hair.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I thought it looked more like Cersei, like in the
I was gonna say Cersei's got no hair.
No, like in the earlier seasons when she would just have a little braid there, but the rest hanging down.
Wait, is Bran channeling Cersei's due? Who had it first, Bran or Cersei?
What?
Bran and Cersei have the same
They
hairdo
got
now.
the same
Yeah.
due.
Okay,
little
well,
long and shaggy.
speaking of Cersei, so she wants Jon to come to King's Landing to bend the knee, and she has a new map room.
You could see her downfall starting from this first episode. Like she's back to being like season 4 Cersei, who's like, I'm so smart. Or no, season 5. Season 5 is where she does the sparrows, where she's like, I'm so smart and I know everything.
Yeah.
But really, she's making poor choices
No,
and
it was
alienating
6. 6
herself.
was the sparrows. So this is right after she...
No, I'm just saying, like, where she was thinking that she was really smart and making all the right choices, but instead she's just...
But like when she like enlisted the sparrows and made the faith militant, she thought she was hot shit, and it was the worst decision she made.
And then she fixed that problem. And,
Right.
Well, she's also on this high because she thinks now, like, she has no enemies. Well, within King's Landing, at least. Like, there's no one
Right.
to challenge her within the city.
Because she's murdered everyone.
Yes, as Tyrion calls her the most murderous woman in the world.
Agreed.
So Cersei and Jaime are now having issues. You can see their...
Go to marital counseling.
Well, yeah. They're just full out sleeping together now, aren't they?
Yeah.
Like, in front of everyone, and...
Somebody online quoted the thing as like incest royale. It's just the
Well, and
incest
also
is back.
he was like, "No, don't." Okay, fine. And then she was like, "And clean the sheet. Like, clean the sheets.
We need
fuck
fresh sheets."
a ton. So and they're
It's
dirty
a
as
mess
hell."
in there.
I'm back to season 1. I'm uncomfortable with it. Like I was fine for like 2 seasons, and now I'm just like
And then the
icky.
dirty shirts.
I mean, he's got Brienne, even though I kind of want. That's a whole
Threesome.
quadrille angle that I can't.
Threesome.
Anyways, moving on.
All right, so he's saying they need to make more allies, and she's like, "Well, I got one in mind." And Euron arrives at King's Landing.
I love
Euron.
Euron. Okay,
Hate
can I just
him.
tell you, I love the character and I love to hate him.
I do love to hate him.
He's dressed like a rock star now. He's got like
With
these
his
Them
little
pants,
stars.
though. I'm gonna
Well,
drink.
he's some much needed comedic relief that like Tyrion used to be, but he's just monstrous comic relief, and it works. And
I
he's
love
amazing.
it. Yeah, yeah.
It's like just the way he goes after Jaime.
Oh my gosh, she's
Hey,
like,
Cassie,
"Oh,
a
it's so
finger
gets
in the
me so
bum."
hot to murder my brother. You should try it
Internet?
sometime."
Huh?
What's the internet? Oh, by the way, guys, if you're watching and you have anything to say, please
Nothing.
say it.
I
So,
checked it recently.
okay, sorry. Anyway,
Words are weird.
So Cersei declines his marriage offer. So he's like, "Well, I'm gonna bring you a gift," and he leaves.
and we all got nervous. All our
like,
assholes
shit,
puckered.
what is his gift? Oh my god! And then poor Samwell at the Citadel.
Oh, the internet remix.
Sam's wax on, wax off.
Literally, I thought it was like I think they cut it like one of those sound remixes that they
Yeah.
do on the
Do,
internet.
The shit pop montage was
Yes.
the best.
And I just have to say, you would think the Maesters would eat better.
There
Yeah.
was like some lentil
Like,
vegan
hearty
like,
stew.
gruel. Yeah.
I don't really
It's
want
just hard to tell if
I need
it
more
was
wine,
going
please.
in or coming
I
out.
mean, they don't have to have the best
More
cuts
wine?
of beef
No,
that
oh,
they
it's okay, I'll go.
raided from all the villages, but you think a little steak now and then would be warranted.
Basically, he's on KP duty. He's in the mess hall, and he's also flushing out the what am I trying to say?
The
Chamber
bedpan.
pots.
Chamber
Chamber pots and
pots.
bed. Oh my god,
That's gross. But he keeps having a Harry Potter moment to keep looking at the restricted section
Yes.
of the library.
That is very Harry Potter.
Yeah.
And so,
Oh, here.
so he finally does go in there, and he learns that there's dragon glass on Dragonstone.
Which we knew from like season.
Samwell already
4?
knew this because
Everybody knew.
Stannis said it to Sam, but
Yeah,
he
no, they
didn't think
planted
about
those
it.
seeds for us all along, but now it's like all the dots connected.
But,
Yeah.
but didn't Sam even say he knew it at one point, mentioned
Yeah.
it to John, and had forgotten it?
Yeah.
But like when
Because
does Sam,
plot.
When does Sam know the impetus? He knows Dragonglass kills the walkers after
Because he
does
killed it.
Well,
yeah,
well,
yeah.
So how does he forget about
That's
it?
Well,
my
and also,
question.
here's the thing: is
That's a good
that
question.
I think it was also yes, he knew it was there, but I think when he saw the book, it said like there was a lot more than he thought. It wasn't just like a few bits here
It
and
was
there.
a
It was like
mountain.
a
It's not like
mountain of it.
arrowheads on
But-
the beach, you know. It's,
But it's really out of character, and I think I know the answer why. Because Sam, in the first season, second season, I read it in a book.
Yeah.
He keeps going on about that, but you have to admit, he did have some major life-changing, virginity-losing.
That's
recently,
true. He
so
did a lot.
His mindset has completely changed.
yeah,
Yeah,
Sam's
he did
the
a
worst
lot.
mansplainer in the
But
world.
at
my
the
God,
same
yes.
time, he's going around. His whole purpose of being down there is to learn how to kill White Walkers. You'd think that he would think about because he already knows. So you'd think he would search his memory first.
Well,
Yeah.
also, wait. Well, mind you, this is pretty much like the first scene we see of Sam there
Yeah.
at the Citadel. So it is one of the very first bits of information he uncovers there.
It seems
But
like
also,
plottish stuff
what
was
we
happening.
expect for Sam to happen for Sam is what he expected was that he just gets to be in like a book wonderland,
Right.
But he forgets that he has to start at the bottom and work to book wonderland, and so this is maybe
As
the first
janitor.
time.
And
cracked a book
he
open.
also meets Ser Jorah.
Yes.
Yeah.
The man of the never-ending leprosy arm. Oh
Yeah.
my God!
Oh,
Did
it
you
was
know?
So good.
Yeah, I know. It's just like we have a drinking rule every time Jorah looked at his arm because they would just be like, "By the way, do you remember he has dragon skin?" Just in case you forgot, we're gonna show you his hand again.
Andrew's
Grayscale,
mom
sorry.
was watching that with us, and she jumped when that hand came out.
I jumped too. But they put it in the trailer, so you kind of half expected
No,
it.
exactly. It was a good reveal, but I kind of sussed it out watching the preview for it.
Okay, then we have Arya says Arya's going south. She says she's going south to kill
The
the queen.
cameo that blew up the internet.
Why did people lose their shit over
I
it?
didn't even know who that was.
You mean the troop of milquetoast Lannister soldiers?
Yes.
Who were the biggest sweethearts ever? Like,
You
how
see
are they still
Arya.
alive?
You
No, but
see
one
her
of
like
them is Ed
slowly
Sheeran
walk towards.
singing a
She's
song.
like, I
"Oh
don't
my
trust
God,
you.
what did they do?"
So this
He
is
got
the
bullied a bunch for it.
this
Yeah.
is the Coral Platoon. Is that what I'm to understand?
I guess they were just like,
They were
look,
just
we
out
want to
doing
show
their
that
thing.
everybody's not a complete monster.
Yeah.
There are
That's-
five
Just
nice
because you're a
dudes.
Lannister man doesn't mean
This was
you're
not.
a raper and pillager.
This was for Arya to realize that like not
Everyone should be murdered.
Not everyone should be murdered because of who they're connected with.
But in Game of Thrones style, I feel like it is statistically improbable that there wasn't at least one rapist in the group.
Well-
Like-
Well, no, but Arya was ready. Like, she approached slowly. She had her hand on her sword. She was on her guard.
yeah.
But the rapists were outnumbered by the jovial boys.
Yeah.
Joviality wins
I'm
over
the raper,
rapiness.
and they can't do anything
They're
about
like,
it.
come
You
on,
know what I mean?
Kim, not tonight. It's too nice tonight in the
Just-
blackberry wine. Come on. No, but what they did, what these squadron of milquetoast coral bannermen did, they guilt tripped the hell out of Arya because of what the guy said. He goes, "Little girls stay home and take care of their papas."
Yes.
And Arya's like,
Well,
Oh, I didn't even think about
Yeah.
that.
and that's something
good.
not only guilt trip, but that's something like she can never do.
Oh.
Yeah.
I also
That's
really
interesting.
like.
Well, and it harkens to later when she has to make the choice between her vengeance and going home.
"Oh,
Yeah.
very well said."
Well, speaking of
Wait,
guilt,
I just wanted to talk
Sorry.
again in my fashion. My favorite part of the scene is when she was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna kill the queen," and they all starts laughing. She's like, "Ha ha ha."
She does that a lot this season. A lot of
Yep.
people are like, "You're not gonna kill." She's like, "Ha
Real
ha."
laugh,
laughing.
real
When
laugh,
she tells them
real
the
laugh,
absolute
real
truth.
laugh.
It's so
Yeah.
ludicrous. They're
She's
like,
just
oh, it's
like,
funny.
all right, sorry, you don't believe me.
I warned you though.
Get a sack. And then finally people are like, wait a
Hey,
minute.
Sansa is.
Well, so
okay.
I imagine after that laugh, they like filled her in. They're like, "No, she just blew up the fucking Sept of Baelor." With
Oh
wildfire."
yeah,
Like,
possibly.
and then she's
How
probably like,
much-
all the more reason for me to go kill her.
Yeah.
How much news does Arya get in that scene?
That's
from these
true.
guys?
I wonder.
They sound
She's
like
just a
gossips.
kid. They probably don't even think about it. Okay, what's next?
I was saying, speaking of guilt trips, the Hound and the Brotherhood arrive at that place where
Oh.
Arya he
The
stayed
Hound
once.
is haunted.
I mean, I love it, but we had 7 fucking episodes. Could we move that shit along?
Well, no, but then we now know where they're going because the Hound looks in the fire and sees Eastwatch by the sea.
Yeah.
He sees
The army of the
north.
dead.
And also, I think it is an interesting moment for the Hound to be like bought in. Like he is now
and to like follow fire is most
yeah.
yeah.
So, despite the fact that it is kind of a boring scene, it is a lot, and also not even like to be bought in. Sure, the fact that it's the fire religion is even crazier, but for the Hound to be like, man, we have to go there because I saw it in the fire. That's like pretty.
By the way, I hope
shit.
you're on board for a 2-hour mess here because
Oh,
it's going on
absolutely.
for a while. Okay, and then is it 5 minutes of walking or?
And then
Yeah, Dan
5
Hotel.
minutes of walking. Not a single word is spoken. I just love the music on
Watch
that.
her reaction video for that for a
Right.
Benny Hill version of Daenerys walking up to
What
her dragon.
what is the...
This is the thing I wrote down too. It's like, can't there be a way for the last one to leave the castle to lock it up? Because they're just like, open the door.
Well,
No,
see,
if I lived there, I'd just be like, hey, I'm gonna
I
go to
feel
this
like
abandoned
wouldn't there have
castle
been
and
like
fucking live.
castle staff there when Stannis was there?
A septic,
I,
at least.
I know, like Stannis went off to war, but would there not still be some maids or people like?
I think
within the
perhaps
castle?
what might be happening is they're closing it down because winter is here. So it's possible that they're like, we don't want to live here.
They said they abandoned it.
Yeah, exactly.
They just
went off
peaced
to
out.
war. He abandoned
Dragonstone
Dragonstone.
was always the Valyrian stronghold when they were in Westeros, and there were no
Targaryen.
Valyrian. I'm sorry, from Valyria. The Targaryens, and yes, Stannis totally left that shit go to rot after he
I
took
love
over.
the symbolism
Well,
of her
it was
tearing
originally
down
a
his
Valyrian
banners.
outpost,
Yeah.
and then the
That's where
Targaryens
it
took
was.
it over. So yes, it was built by the Valyrians.
And there's something really magical about Dany coming home to the place that she was born.
Yes.
And like touching. It was funny because I was rewatching some of our Comic Palooza from 2017, and we're all like, "Where's Dany gonna win?"
Yes, that was one question I saw at some point. I was like, oh well.
Well,
obviously.
I feel like the set design for Dragonstone got a lot better this season.
Budget.
I
Is
don't know
the budget.
exactly, but I don't remember it being that beautiful.
Well,
And
because
Stannis was there beyond the table.
we never really saw the exterior at all. We only
We
saw
saw the
like
beach.
in the map. Yeah, we saw the beach
Like
at
Cliffy
night.
Beach.
And
Because they didn't have budget for that shit. They threw in 2 like seriously sized castles in this
No, but
season
when I saw the
with Castle
dragons
Rock
in
and
stone,
3 actually.
It looked like an old.
Probably a lot.
Yeah, it's
almost
Casterly Rock.
Japanese or Chinese
Hornhill-
Hornhill was
yeah,
last
well,
one.
because Dragonstone was
High
originally
Garden
built by the
and,
Valyrians centuries
Dragonstone
before.
was-
Targaryens people.
Because we've never really seen Dragonstone.
Well, no, because see, no, I mean, like the Empire of Valyria
Having
had it
two
built as a
And
as
it's
an
really neat.
outpost.
It's
And then after the Doom, the Targaryens went and took it over. So,
That's right.
so they wouldn't necessarily have to look like the Targaryen dragons.
it's
They
neat though that the because we've seen Stannis there, we've seen the dragon mythology all around him, but it feels like so at home for Dany, who is the dragon. Like it's just like
Drink
the
every time they
pieces
walk up
fit.
and down those stairs, because
Oh,
that's
Jesus.
clearly the only thing to do on Dragonstone is walk up and down those
They
stairs.
were like, "Look, we got this place. We're
In that
gonna use it,
location,
okay?"
That's the most scenic thing they got.
Yeah. Okay, so anyway, so
episode
we got the
2,
next
Stormborn.
episode, Stormborn.
I love the beginning of this episode. It's so tense.
Dany goes hard on
The
Varys.
Dany and Varys.
Oh, yeah.
Mm.
She,
Conleth Hill. I bow
Tyrion's
before
trying
you.
to tell her, like, don't burn everything. The dragon should be a last resort. And then she's all wary of Varys because, yes, in Varys' history, he went, that's, oh, God, how do I word it?
He hasn't taken very good care of his kings.
Right,
Yes.
he's betrayed a lot of kings, but when he explains it, it's great that she finds common ground with him.
Yes.
It's,
Because
it shows that both of them do care about the realm, and I think Dany and Jon and Varys are literally the only people that care about.
Well,
the
but
realm.
it's also like I feel
not
like
even Tyrion.
she had to.
I'll get to Tyrion.
She knew that she had to find a way to accept him because she knows of his power
Right.
and general good-naturedness, but she had to use this scene to let him know that he was no longer like calling the shots.
I mean, he did try to kill her a whole bunch.
Exactly.
So.
Well, whenever he tells her that he's trying to serve the people, I'm trying to help he says, I don't believe in blind loyalty. He follows the person best fit to rule the people.
Yeah.
And then so she says, fine, but if I'm fucking up as a queen, you tell me.
Yeah, don't turn on me. Just tell me.
Yes.
And he's like, fine, if I do, then you'll burn me.
Well, because
Got
I
it.
think that's where she finds the validity in his statement. It's like, okay, so, my father went mad, so you will, then you were going to do this, but that didn't work out. So now instead of just like switching teams, just tell me I'm fucking up, and we can fix it.
I have a note about that though, because I feel like that's all fine and good when Dany's like calm and in her element, but when shit's going wrong for her, she has a tendency to lash out and do some not so smart things that she thinks are smart.
Yeah.
So I'm
Like
just
setting people on
even talk
fire.
about
or
later.
killing just people that she shouldn't have.
Yeah.
I mean,
But I mean, Varys has served the kings as well as he could. Hell, Dany wouldn't be there without him. He
Right.
got her and her brother out of King's
But
Landing.
but she
when
almost
that was
wasn't
going
there
down.
because of him too.
That's true.
yeah.
And also, even like getting her out of King's Landing or whatever, like her life has been kind of created by Varys. Like wasn't he the one who set up the match with? Like
No.
it was Illyria
Yes,
was his
yes,
pal. He set it
Illyria.
up
Yeah.
through Illyria.
To
So
marry
he has been.
Khal Drogo.
She has realized that her life has been taking paths because he's been like puppet mastering.
Of course, back then he was still rooting for Viserys,
right?
But
But still, like, so she sees she has to like establish her dominance because
Yeah.
he's been in charge of her life for so long.
And also, and she brings up, did you give the order to send the assassins? He may have sent the sparrows or sent the ravens.
He sent the
whatever it
raven,
was,
but
he also set up Jorah to his spider sense to go off because
Right.
Jorah got the pardon, and then he was like,
No, Jorah's pardon was payment for setting up Dany, for spying on Dany.
Yeah, but
So no, the fact that the only reason Jorah saved Dany is because he fell in love with her. If he hadn't fallen in love with her, he would have taken his pardon and gone home, and
Yeah.
Daenerys would be
Well,
dead.
my point is, Varys could have almost tipped Jorah off, knowing like, hey, you make the choice, I trust you. He got the pardon right before.
Yeah.
Dany
Well,
got
I
the
pardon
think-
was payment.
Well, I think probably because they sent him the pardon, assuming that Daenerys would have been killed. So like, she's killed. Here's your pardon.
Yeah.
So probably they just sent both those ravens at the same time, but.
But didn't it come from Robert, the pardon?
yeah, but
Baratheon?
I think Varys sent both.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
Because
well,
he
yeah, I
says
mean,
Lord Varys sends his regards or something. The kid says something about Lord
Yeah,
Varys.
I mean, Jorah was supposed to be spying for them, and if he does his job well, he'll get pardoned. You know, the pardon wasn't. No, the reason he saved Dany is because he fell in love with her, not because Varys tipped him off.
Okay, what's next?
All right, we should move on.
Yeah.
Melisandre arrives at Dragonstone and says you should meet Jon Snow. So,
And everybody in the world gets hype.
yep. So she summons Jon Snow, but Sansa
To
is
bend
weary.
the knee.
Yeah, Sansa has like John. Has
We
to
were
convince
all
her.
weary. Okay, I'm sorry, wary, not weary. We were wary. We were
Well,
all
we're-
like,
we're weary just
I mean,
generally.
yeah. But we were like, this does not seem like it's gonna go very well.
But
It's not gonna be the meeting of my dreams.
but this is where Davos is like, we need fire to kill White Walkers. Dragons have fire.
Davos always with the sense. Can we add a rule where Davos is making the most sense
Just
in all
Davos
of
drink
Ga-
for Davos logic.
Like
just-
Davos logic is undeniable. He can talk his way into anything using logic. It's amazing.
Or out of it.
Or out of
Yeah.
it, but mostly into it. He keeps convincing people to do things.
Yes, all right, and then we have Cersei trying to turn the Tyrell Bannermen against Olenna and the Tyrells.
Can I just tell you how
You dick
blah
on.
I feel about Cersei this season? Like, I just, that charisma that she used to have, or the way that you were kind of like loving to hate her is gone for
Well, we
me,
see
and I
this-
just hate her.
We see this at the end where or later on at some point Jamie's like, you've been fucking up. Like he's kind of like,
Right.
like we made bad choices.
Everybody's
and everyone
up
left
here,
us.
and you're
Yeah.
still down here
Yeah.
fighting this petty battle, and you're not. I'm just like done. I've moved on to higher planes, and you're still down here, and that's how I feel about
But
Cersei
she
this
has
whole
nowhere
season.
else to go but forward.
I
Like,
agree,
why would
I
she
agree.
stop and reign in
Pretty
this?
much,
fucking kill her and put her out of her
she's just
misery.
saying
She
like
has
she
come
just
too
she just
far.
plans to outlive everyone.
To
It's-
go
I
back
actually
home.
have to wonder, and this is maybe a question for Andrew, but I have to wonder, do you think that perhaps, George R.R. Martin in the books kills Cersei earlier?
It's hard to tell, not knowing where the story goes. The thing is this whole storyline and her support with Jamie, I don't think can be in the books.
Yeah, it's already
Because
done, isn't it?
Jamie's
Yeah.
abandoned her. So what? But I mean, like the Sand Snakes, was that Martin or was that the B-Boys? Because if that's her, then she has to be around to make that happen.
Do you call them the B-Boys?
Yeah,
I don't know,
DB
Bud
Weiss
Hall
and
thing.
Benny Huff. They got bees in them. It's Dan and Dan, or Dan and Dave.
Dan and Dave.
Dan and
Dave.
But so it's
What's the other
because
saying?
we don't know how
No.
Jamie's storyline has
I'm
been
laughing. No,
conflated because
nothing,
he must
okay.
obviously spend a lot of time running around with Brienne. That's not important,
Yeah.
But that have they conflated him with someone else? Have they just said she needs support, so we're going to use him, and they've
I mean, he's
rerouted
probably
him?
off on adventures with Lady Stoneheart in the fucking books. For
Yeah,
all
I mean,
we
he
know.
eventually goes off to Winterfell, so he eventually ends up in what was bound to be the right place.
Right.
But obviously, this is Lady Stoneheart storyline has been all cut. He doesn't need to be running around the Riverlands with Brienne. So,
It's my theory. I think that Cersei's already dead by now. In the
well,
books.
I think
Well,
it
we'll
all
probably
depends on
never
how the
know.
series
No
ends.
way. Not with
Because
Arya.
if she's part of the final conflict, she's part of the final conflict.
Yeah, that's fair. Well, I guess we'll know at the end of next season.
Like,
Okay.
There's going to be
Oh.
some big differences and departures versus what was this.
But the ending is still the same,
Yes,
they
they
said.
all get
Well,
to
and
the
I
same
think the
point
blowing up the Sept
when
of
they need
Baelor,
to.
that has to be Martin, and she has to do that.
Yeah, that's
You
Yeah.
fair.
can't kill her off and have someone else do it.
They've been leading up to that a lot in the books. Okay, anyway,
All right, we
sorry,
should move
Mark
on.
wants to move on.
Well, no, I'm trying to keep it going.
Yeah.
Samuel wants to cure Jorah, but is denied permission. They say it's way too dangerous, but he's all like, "You're the Lord Commander's son," and apparently the best way to cure Grayscale is to just rip
flay him.
Just rip off the
Like,
scaly
no.
part and apply some
It's
ointment.
like peeling
Gently.
the
It's
pepperoni
like-
off that you don't want to eat.
It's a chemical peel.
Yeah, it's just a deep
Oh,
cleanse.
that was so
Mechanical
gross.
chemical peel.
And he does it in 24 hours.
And
Right.
he puts the ointment on and it fixes
And
it.
his
He does it
skin
in
grows
an
back
evening.
entirely
He does it
by
in
the
an
next scene.
It's look
Like, the skin
peeled
is just
scabs.
back.
That's some good ointment, Samuel.
Well,
Uh,
hey, it just speaks to his skill, baby.
Yeah.
No, but then it cuts right to that shot of that pie.
That's
Yeah.
literally the only part of that scene that
Oh,
we needed.
and
Like,
my mother fell for that like the rest of us. She's like, oh, I thought that was still
Fun
That's
transition.
what they wanted you to think.
I mean, it's a
There's
fun
two
little
in this episode.
Yeah, it's a fun little plot line, and it's like, oh yay, okay, he got cured, and Sam and all that. But like, okay, I didn't need all of that time.
Mhm.
Like that, the best part of that was transitioning to the stew.
Yeah, and then we have Qyburn unveils his scorpion.
I was so scared. I'm still scared.
I was predicting from the beginning of the season
I'm
that one of the
stressed.
dragons was going to die, and now there's like, oh, here's how we
He
kill
predicted
it.
the exact dragon that was gonna die.
He did.
Mm.
Well, because at this point, like,
We lost him.
no, I was reading the note. Okay. Well, no, now it goes back to Tyrion and Dany. Like, they're talking about their, like, what do we do?
The main plot of this, which is the succession, right? Is that the succession talk?
Well,
No, this is
Not
the
yet.
plans to
like, how do we take Westeros?
Oh,
And
okay.
Dany is, right now, she's thinking, well, I have dragons. No one can do anything to my dragons. Like, she is on, like,
Wrong.
she's getting very arrogant, and which is not making her think.
I
very
would
well.
like to say, however, that if I had arrived in Westeros with that armada of ships that we saw at the end of the 6th season, and 3 dragons, and all of my multiple armies, I would probably have a little bit of an ego as well.
Yeah.
Like, she got that all for herself.
And
from
especially
0 to that.
Every army
From wandering
that
in
has,
the forest by
like,
herself. I mean, the
the
desert.
number of times Jamie's like, we can't fight that.
We can't fight
fucking
that.
Fight
I
that.
love his
He does
realism in
season
this. He-
episode 4, episode 7, he's like, we can't fucking fight that.
Yeah,
like,
he just
what-
survived through Saving Private Ryan on fire.
Oh, we'll get there. But Tyrion's idea is to use the Westerosi armies, like Dorne and the Ironborn, to lay siege to King's Landing, because he doesn't want the foreign armies to come and take it over, because Cersei's there, keeps calling her the foreign horde, the Mad King's daughter. So, but then he has a plan for the Unsullied to take Casterly Rock.
The plans look so good. They look
Yeah.
so good on paper.
I have a question. I mean, Jamie makes some smart choices, but I have some questions about how you guys feel Tyrion was represented in this season. Because they're talking a little bit about it online, and they're like, I mean, remember who Tyrion was. He was a lecherous, fast-talking, you know, smarmy, smart, quick-witted guy, and he is some kind of neuterized version of Tyrion in this season.
Well, that was my next thought, was like, he has this plan to take Casterly Rock. This is not his strategy talking. This is his pride talking. He says he doesn't want to destroy his family, but he wants to take Casterly Rock for no reason at all. It is on the other side of the country. None of the armies are there. There is no gold there anymore. There is absolutely no strategic reason to take Casterly Rock.
I think the Lannister army is there.
yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, he
I
doesn't
think
know
the
that.
Lannisters are holding it.
But he doesn't send scouts. He doesn't send people over there to make sure that the army is there.
Yeah.
I feel like that's something Robb Stark would have done at 19.
He just went in there and dove straight for that. But Olenna counsels Dany, and she says,
I love that.
do you know how I survived? I ignored all the clever men. And she's like, be a dragon.
Don't be a sheep.
And
be a
eventually,
dragon.
she does, like, halfway through the season, she becomes a dragon, and she fucking wins a big win.
Yeah, like,
But-
but she does it again.
Big W.
We'll
But
talk
she
about
does it against the army, not
Right.
just burning
Very
down
smart
the city.
choices.
And
Very
that's
smart
the
doesn't want to
problem
be
that
the queen
Tyrion
of
is
the
trying to
ash.
avoid.
This is a lot of season of Tyrion trying to, like, stave off Dany's temper. And not to get into predictions, but I feel like that's only going to get worse next
But he
season.
also, he does it just like she asked Varys to do. he does it very straightforward of, like, you have a temper. Like, when you burnt the Tarleys, it was bad. Like, that was not
Well, I
good.
have many things to say about that, but okay.
But going back to your question about Tyrion's treatment, I think you just got to realize that Tyrion is basically grown up now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he didn't have a job. His job was to drink and whore and be funny. And then he got he was the hand, so he was still a little whoring, he was still a little drinking and being funny, but he learned what it's like to do a good job.
To lead.
And so now with Dany, all he's got to do right now, there are no whores. They're still drinking.
Tyrion has probably not had sex since before Shay died.
If Shay's the last person he fucks, I'm gonna be pissed.
Actually,
like,
no,
if he doesn't
it's
fuck
been
someone
since
before...
Maybe his
Joffrey's
former wife.
No, since he married Sansa.
Yeah.
Oh, poor guy.
I just
Shay's the
that's why he's given such bad advice.
I'm gonna give her hating.
Can I even say I was looking at all the pictures of all the beautiful actors at the premiere, and then I got to Shay, I was like, fucking Shay. And like, that's an actress in beautiful makeup.
She's
a lovely
gorgeous. We
person.
love her. She's a great actress.
Actually, I
Fuck
didn't like
Shay.
what she was wearing. I'm like, what the fuck are you wearing?
I would have hated it anyway.
All right, so moving on.
Miss Zendaya and Grey Worm get down.
Literally.
They get down.
Watch our reaction video
And
for all of us blushing
And Dany was
deeply.
all like, how did he... Oh, there are ways. I
Many
mean,
things.
If lesbians can do things, then I'm sure...
I think we were all just like on board with that.
Yeah,
like just too
absolutely.
enthusiastic.
No, it was a very sweet moment
So
between
he
two very nice
unsullied
characters.
Missandei?
Yes, drink. That's a drink.
No, he sullied her.
She is no longer unsullied.
I think she's very happy to be sullied.
Yeah.
Okay, moving
Alright, so-
on.
And then we do the other fun cutscene where as he's going down, she like, we think she reaches up. No, it's Sam grabbing a book.
That was a crazy fucking Sam's cuts in this
thick
one.
leather-bound volume.
All right, well, we already
right.
talked about Sam curing that. But, well, that's when Sam cures the grayscale.
No, he doesn't
And-
even.
Well, no, because then it cuts to Arya and the pie. Well, the pie, and we see Arya.
Oh, yeah.
We talked about Sam curing because it's when he said, "I think I can go do it." And
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've already talked about
All
it.
right, so he does that, and then Hot Pie tells Arya that
in
Jon.
typical Hot Pie fashion of just like, well, let me tell you.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
That-
she was so grabby with all the food and whatnot.
Side note, the actor who plays Hot Pie owns a dough shop, and I found the actual name of it. It's You Know Nothing John Doe
Oh, nice.
is the name
Oh,
of his
goodness.
pie
Cheers
shop.
to that.
Yes.
Well
It
done,
could have
sir.
just done You Do Nothing, but okay.
You do nothing.
It's John Doe, but that was good. Drink for your pun game.
All right, so so Arya finds out that Jon is back at Winterfell,
Yes.
and he's king of the North, and so she has the moment of she looks south, she looks north, and then she goes north, and we were very
And
excited.
then
for
we
that.
lead to, I mean, let's finish up with Arya, right? There's only one more scene.
Well, first Baelish thinks he
No.
has an angle is what I wrote.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, in the Sansa John, or in the basement?
The crypt, the Winterfell.
Oh, the Crypts of Winterfell.
Well, because when he receives word that there's dragon glass at Dragonstone, that's all even more reason for him to decide to go. So he tells everyone he's going. Sansa's all like, no, it's a trap, and everyone's pissed that he's leaving. Again, nobody wants to make allies. Jon is trying to make allies.
And so is Tyrion. Everybody else is like, nah. I think that's like a woman thing. Like Dany and Sansa and everybody's
Your
like,
mom didn't like my mom, so we can't be friends.
Right.
Like,
The people are the ones that crown Jon king, and now the first major decision he makes, they're all like, no,
hang on, maybe not.
like, I know 5 minutes ago I was all shouting for you, but.
Bunch of fucking summer nights.
Oh.
Yeah, and then, Jon and Littlefinger have that moment in the crypts, and they're just
Harkening back to the moment with Ned Stark in
Outside
season
the
1.
brothel.
You're a funny man, a very funny man.
Yeah, and then Arya encounters Nymeria.
Yes, we closed the book on Nymeria.
No,
Did
we
we?
don't.
No, we don't.
No,
We don't know that
don't.
for sure.
She's
That
out
girl could
there.
come
She's
running
coming
in there.
the final
She could
battle.
come rescue
She
some
could
shit.
still
She's
come.
gonna be up in it.
I'm
I
not
think
with
we
you on
closed
that
the
one,
book on
Andrew.
Nymeria.
How many
I am-
Jello
Jello
shots does
shot.
that?
I will Jello shot a fucking
I'm
wager on
the
that.
the Riverlands.
Okay.
So-
Check out our reaction videos and subscribe to Patreon for $1 if you'd like to see us take a bunch of Jello shots based on the things we wager.
So I predict an uptick in the population of direwolves south of the wall. A little Ghost and Nymeria action. They're in.
Oh my
Nymeria
god!
done.
Wait,
Andrew
they're
wagered.
brother
The
and
show already
sister,
has
though.
the show
Oh,
already
they're
has
dogs.
human incest.
What's the wager?
All
How
right,
many?
all right.
How many shots do you wager that Nymeria is done?
3.
3.
All right, so if we see
Write it
Nymeria,
down. You've seen it here first,
he will
folks.
have to take 3 Jello
I don't
shots.
remember what I started this document for. There was another wager, and I did not.
Yeah,
write it
that's the
down.
one that between us. I do
we'll
want to say
discuss that
one
one
quick
later.
thing because I saw it. You had it written down, which is the "That's not you."
Yes.
There was a huge amount of confusion. We talked about this at Comic Palooza. A lot of people were like, "Wait, was that not her?" Blah blah. As some of you probably read online, it refers back to
or literally, if
Or
you watch
literally.
the 6 minutes after the episode, they talk about
Exactly.
it, do a flashback of baby Arya saying, "That's not me," and like just say explicitly, "That's what we meant." So
Right.
you just watch
By
that
the
6
way,
minutes.
Other direwolf.
Yeah,
If you
it's like,
idiots-
Oh, you're not Nymeria. Sorry.
Well,
There was so much
Have a
online
good day.
confusion.
No, that clearly
So much
was her.
online
That was
confusion
Lady
about
Wolfheart,
that.
which a lot of people don't know.
That was good. Okay,
My-
so anyways,
My next note is the sand bitches finally get what they deserve, and Euron is a freaking badass.
and Theon
Holy
reverts to
crap.
being Reek.
He
That
goes
was the
straight
most
Reek.
heartbreaking
Well,
part of
it's
that.
confusing because up until that moment, he
More
is
wine,
fighting.
please. Oh, do
It's
I need
like,
to go
is
open
it-
a new one?
I can go
It's
back.
a, it's
Please,
a moment,
'cause
it's
I'm
a
not
moment
great
of
with the
PTSD,
opener.
and he reverted to Reek. It was his default.
Yeah. Well, it's because he paused. All right, because he paused. He looked around. He saw Yara was captured. He had the knife to her throat. There was no way he was going to step over there and miraculously save her. So, but what he was doing, he was looking around at the Ironborn that were like ripping out the
open
guy's
this one.
tongue
Yep.
and stuff. So yeah, he had PTSD flashbacks of being tortured. He's like, I can't do that again. He doesn't really have enough appendages to continue torture.
So, like, this is an ongoing thing. This is what we were arguing about, I think, about Bran. Is he the three-eyed raven? Is he still Bran? Is Theon Reek or is he Theon? And they're both. They're everybody. They're
No, I
struggling with
think-
it. There's a lot of characters who have this duality in them, even Jamie, and they're
I need to
all of
figure
those
this out.
things. It's just one wins out at one point.
I agree with that, like the Jekyll and Hyde back
there.
then.
But the
Napkin
three-eyed
over there.
raven brand
Napkin.
thing is the argument is about beings. He's
True.
a different being.
No.
Okay.
And
No,
Well, I
I'm
don't
just
think
saying,
necessarily like
there's
he's
a-
physically altered. I think that the download of memory has changed his mind, but that doesn't change his physicality
I mean, it changes.
necessarily.
I mean, it changes who he is. Like
That's
war changes who someone is.
yeah. I
Right?
mean, he's
Yeah.
a completely
But
different
you weren't here
mentality,
last week
but
when the argument
were-
between
yeah.
you and Kate is that Kate said the three-eyed raven is wearing a brand suit.
Okay, no,
So-
we're not going there again.
Okay, I will watch that.
All right, but I will comment on Theon or Reek later at a
Okay.
different note.
Okay.
But Dany's entire fleet is pretty much burned. Yeah, and Theon jumped ship, and yeah.
Yeah,
Then we
Euron's
go-
entrance was amazing. So.
Oh my gosh! Like it, literally came out of the shadows, and he's like that
Oh,
thing.
I have a small side
This is
note.
a fucking kraken.
Uh,
right there.
the
Well
the two sand snakes are killed with their own weapons.
Yes.
Uh huh.
Good
They
I
round.
are
was
their own
so
demise.
excited. And then we go straight into the next episode, Queen's
Queen's
Justice.
John comes to Dragonstone.
Okay, I had an interesting thing that I noticed. I think this is where my notes start to get a little fuzzier because I was just watching and not paying that much attention to typing notes. I noticed that when Jon is walking up with Tyrion and stuff, he says, "I'm not a Stark." And then the moment he says
Yep.
that, the dragon flies over him.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean,
Just
they've-
an interesting bit. It may or may not mean anything.
No,
It makes
the
it-
whole internet agrees with you that it does mean something.
Okay.
It makes you wonder how many other obvious nods have there been that we just haven't got because of some.
Did you
foreknowledge.
watch the video, the R+L=J compilation?
I read the book, so I already kind of sussed it out when I was on book 4.
There's
but
there's a
sure.
compilation. You should watch it. It has a compilation of every single scene that talks about Rhaegar and Lyanna, and Jon Snow, like sort of being a Targaryen. And there's several moments in there where they kind of just hand it to you. It's just a YouTube video. You should check it out. It's good.
It's, I mean, all of the fans had it figured out before they finally
I mean,
revealed
we
it.
thought.
They were just messing with us. Then they spent all of season 6, literally dangling in front of your face saying, here it is, oh, but not yet. Here it is, nope, not yet.
Y'all know you getting Tower of Joy, bitches.
Alright, so then we have Jon Snow meets Daenerys Stormborn.
Ice and fire together.
He's king of the north.
Yeah.
That was
That's
the best
so
fucking
good.
shit. Okay, can I just say, and I think I said this in the Comic Palooza conversation we had, a lot of this is probably repeat, but in a scene where two characters that we love so much are coming together, Jon and Dany, these iconic characters, Davos Seaworth steals the fucking scene every time.
And
It's like, excuse me, I said he was king, not lord.
Yeah.
Please say it right.
Pardon me.
that actor just like
Liam Cunningham.
Cunningham is amazing. I've loved
Onion
him
Knight.
since
The Onion
the
Knight.
Little Princess. Papa, like that's all I can think about. But when he just
Is that him?
Yes, that's fucking him.
I think we've had this
Papa.
conversation. Okay.
So I love him anyway, but like his timing is so fucking good because he even like Jon Snow,
Kitty cat.
King of the North. Right, I should say something else because you talked for 30 seconds about her name. So shit, like it's so
Okay,
good.
but let's talk realistically about this scene.
He
Who
should have been like,
feels...
he has lesser titles.
Right.
Fewer.
Yeah.
But who, because Stannis,
That's exactly-
but like who feels like Dany was acting a little bit childish in that scene?
So
Dany's
much.
being kind of a bitch to Jon. I thought it had a year and a half ago. I think it's still now.
Well, see, all right, one of the most interesting things about their conversations is, yeah, they kind of start off being like, your dad did this. Oh, well, your dad did that. Yes.
You know what it is? It is totally her trying to do the same thing that she did. She's trying to establish her dominance, but then she's also like, but he's so cute. So it doesn't come off as well. It does just seem like petty because she's like, your dad was mean. Like,
Well,
I don't
because you know what it is? It's because he's kind of talking back to her
Yeah.
in a very formal, all due respect way.
And she cannot prove him wrong.
No.
Like the things that he is saying are making logical sense, and you can see not only his honor, but his care for his people and all of the
And
history that he
Tyrion
has.
is there to back up, being like,
Yeah.
look, I know him. He is a
Well,
reasonable
he's a
guy.
It's also,
Mediator.
he's insisting on talking to her as an equal,
This is a
and
different
she's trying to talk to him like she's superior.
Yes.
Yep.
Well, and Jon is no good at this stuff. You can see in his body language he doesn't have time for all this. He's in the
He's
big
very
imitating-
Ned
He's in
right
the big
there.
intimidating throne room of Dragonstone.
Oh, yeah,
But he's just
she-
like,
Well, yeah,
okay,
because if you take away the White Walkers, he would be showing up as king in the north and trying to decide, are we going to go
Right.
to war? Am I going to bend the knee? But he's like, we don't have time for this.
There are
political
more
shit."
important things to deal with.
Yeah.
Now,
Now.
Okay, are we still live?
That's the first time he's done that.
This never happened before. Okay, tell me where to put it. Tell me where to put it.
Oh, that's good.
I'm kidding.
We can't.
I had to see it. Okay, it's actually pretty good.
It's fine.
That's
It looks good. It looks good.
All right, so for those who just saw that,
Technical difficulties.
the cat,
It was a super.
the cat
broken.
walked behind the table and then
Hashtag the cat.
somehow caught onto the cord
Oh, I can't wait
and
to
yanked
watch
the
that.
camera down.
Anyway, sorry, we're also a little bit drunk.
Yeah. We gotta keep moving.
Yeah, let's move
We
along.
gotta go.
Well, we're talking about the whole season.
I know.
So pretty much they decide, okay, let's forgive what our ancestors did. Whatnot. Let's move on to Cersei gets revenge. Karma is a bitch to the sand bitches.
Okay, I would like to say that the entire...
Does this skip Varys and Melisandre? Or did I not take a note on that?
Oh, I
no,
told
go
you this
ahead.
is where my notes get fuzzy.
Go ahead, Andrew. Varys and
Cause,
Melisandre.
Yeah.
Because when they were talking about maybe not taking notes, I tried to take more better scene notes. So Varys is being a total bitch to Melisandre. There's that scene.
Yes, on the
And-
cliffs.
With right... Like, I mean, she's not great, okay?
Well, she's not great, but I think Melisandre does show that she may have been totally and absolutely 100% wrong, but she was earnest what she was doing. She's
Yeah, I
not
agree.
the villain. She just
I-
thought she was right.
And I think rewatching it, you do see the like stark difference between Melisandre with Stannis at her height of
I see
power,
what you did there.
and after she now where she
You
is,
just see it in her
me-
face.
She is defeated.
But that is the reason I believe that she was able to bring back Jon Snow.
Non-cleavage Melisandre is
Yes.
much more humble.
Just-
Yeah.
But But because originally when Thoros of Myr talks about the first time he brought back Derek Dondarrion, he had lost his faith. He didn't believe in anything anymore. He was like, "Fuck the Lord of Light," and then he just said the words because maybe they would work. That's exactly
it wasn't
how.
even maybe they would work. They were the only ones he knew.
Yeah,
He was
and
drunk, and they were.
that's-
I think that's literally what he said. Is they were the only ones he knew.
And that's exactly why, like, Melisandre had to be brought down to her lowest place, and that's when the Lord of Light gave her this power.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think she would have done it if she would have been at the height of her powers.
That makes sense.
So
Okay.
anyway,
It's the same way with
yeah.
what's his face?
What's she going to Volantis for?
Good question, first of all.
I don't
Second
even-
of all, we for sure are going to see her again, right?
She
'Cause
She's
specifically
gonna
says,
come
"I have
in.
to
She
die
will
in a
die in
strange
Westeros.
country."
And that she still has a part to play in this war.
She said she'll
so.
die in Westeros, and she told Arya she will see her again.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Arya got a lot of people to kill, just saying.
Well, see, and then which is
Just
why, okay, I don't
saying.
want to go too much into it, but why they took the Red Woman off Arya's list when, anyway.
That seems like a
and so
mistake.
Actually, so we are coming up to Cersei's revenge because Varys brings news of the fleet attack, and then Theon is saved, and Euron has his parade.
Yes. His
Yeah.
Jesus on like Palm Sunday.
Good
thing.
Lord.
Whatever it is, like
Those
It was
peasants
another walk of
have
shame.
nothing better to do than just be like, hey, some guys
I
walking
know,
through on a
it's like,
horse.
hey,
Hi."
Santa,
Wait,
Santa.
no wonder they're all starving. Every day they're throwing their vegetables at somebody else.
And of course, he has an erection throughout it.
Of
all.
course
he's
he does.
loving
Right.
it.
Does he?
I mean,
He
You can
said
just
Oh.
something
assume.
about getting
A
home.
proverbial
I thought you
erection.
meant like, what, could you see it?
Mark's gonna rewind it.
Tell him
Like
that
the
he
little
missed
little
it.
man.
He
Magnified
was
one.
wearing some tight pants.
That leather doesn't
Okay.
hide much.
Anyways, so then she accepts his hand in marriage, but only after
the war
war
is
is
over.
won.
Because obviously she's like, he's gonna die. I'm
Smart.
gonna kill him.
Yeah.
Hey, excuse me, what
She
is
for sure is
wrong?
not gonna
What
marry
is
him.
wrong with making an oath to wed someone during a war and then afterwards say, I was just kidding?
Yeah, no big
Or
deal.
kill him.
Nothing
You'll
better.
only like
But
die and
This
get your
is where I took
direwolf's
the note.
head
I'm sure
sewn
we
on
probably
you.
saw it before when Euron made his pledge. But Cersei has replaced the gods because the 7-pointed star has now been replaced with the
By a
Lannister
lion.
lion behind
Oh.
the
And
I
yet,
didn't
in
catch
the
that.
opening credits, it's still a fucking stag on King's Landing.
Oh.
That bothers me.
This
off.
season there should be a line.
There should be the whole fucking time, but it's still a stag.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah, it
That
should have been a
shocks me.
You can
lion.
ask him.
Perhaps
I
a
yelled
letter
about
to
it
the
every
editors,
time.
or-
Yeah.
Is
I
she
yelled
like
about it
still,
every
like,
time.
Baratheon widow, maybe?
She has not been Cersei Baratheon not fucking once.
Yeah.
Like, ever in her goddamn
Yeah.
life has she been Cersei Baratheon.
enough.
Well,
No.
because allegedly in Westerosi tradition, the queen does not change her last name.
All right, whatever.
Hey, no, very well. That's,
It wasn't
that's 100%
Marjorie-
True.
Like,
Yeah,
was
because she
never a
stayed
rose.
Elia Martell. Oh,
It
well,
was
no,
never-
she stayed. she
Well,
stayed
no,
Elia.
I mean,
It-
Marjorie
it's
never
not-
So
officially
wait, so
changed
no,
it.
no,
Yeah.
it was a stag because of Tommen Baratheon. He was the
Yeah,
king.
yeah, yeah.
That's the only
Yeah,
reason.
but
it could have been.
but it doesn't switch to a lion when Cersei takes over.
Maybe it'll change this season. We'll
maybe
find
it
out.
should fucking change 7, but whatever.
I'm
All
a
right.
major jealous. Chuck, that
Anyway.
No.
Do you
Okay.
guys think
I
we're
know
gonna
you're
see
right.
Winterfell with a Night's King symbol on it?
Because this is where I then write
Eastwatch.
Baby Bell Pink.
Oh.
Oh, Winterfell.
Yeah, so, okay, I'm sorry. I feel no sympathy for Elia, whatever her face.
Fuck her. Fuck the
And,
Sand Snakes.
she got
don't give a
exactly
shit.
what she deserved, and that seems very satisfying. I'm drinking
Don't
for
give a
that
shit.
satisfying moment.
I have to say, I watched that entire scene. You guys remember this? And I was like, "What the fuck is this weird
Yes.
lipstick they put
Like-
on Daenerys?" Like
I
the
think
whole
it's
time.
Cersei.
Like, not
Cersei.
like us knowing very well how.
Being
Like
those
Marcella
nerds.
died, all of it. Like, but here we are, just
I
being like,
couldn't see the
that's
pink.
a weird lipstick
not everyone
color.
can see.
I can
I'm
see
a
the-
makeup artist. I was like, "What is this
I
glossy
can see
bullshit?"
the conversation. Oh, my queen, I've made you this perfect lip balm to kill
Right.
your enemies. It's just the wonderfulest shade of
Bubblegum pink.
There you go.
Yeah.
Weird.
Because I tested it myself.
I usually can't see
Kyburn
pinks
would.
like that. Anyway.
Because it's blowjob proof.
It's fine.
All right,
It's fine.
so then we go to Sansa is ruling
Drink for
in
that.
the north. This was something interesting, I know. So, I mean, maybe it was just dialogue trying to show Sansa, like, doing lady things. But she was talking about, like, ruling things. Sorry. She says, like, all the northern houses should send their grain to Winterfell. I mean, I get
She's making very like strategic moves, and she follows up. That's the same one where she talks about the shield or the armor, right? And having
Yeah,
the leather.
Well,
So here's the thing.
Wait,
Sorry.
No, see, but the thing is, I get why strategically she's doing that, because when winter gets really bad, all of the other people will like come to winter at Winterfell, and it would be easier for them to have all their food there. But also, it means Sansa is putting all of the North's eggs into one basket.
Well, I get but she also says like when winter is done, we'll send back the exile. You know,
Yes,
like,
yeah.
It doesn't.
But if they lose Winterfell, they're in trouble. To the Night's King, they're in some shit.
Yeah.
Well,
that means all the food for the North.
But yeah, Winterfell is their best.
She
like
knows.
bastion.
She's basically
If
telling
they-
us, "Hey, the big battle's gonna be here."
If they lose Winterfell, the North is gone anyway. So
Here's
it doesn't fucking matter.
again, not to get into predictions, but here's some predictions. I think that what this scene and kind of what they're doing with Sansa in this season is they're showing you that once Jon moves to the Iron Throne, or Jon's dies and his offspring moves to the Iron Throne, or whatever the fuck happens, because I don't think Jon's gonna be in charge of Winterfell. Sansa can be a good leader.
Yes.
She can actually be Lady of Winterfell and Warden of the North.
And like she's
I think my note there is Dany conquers, Sansa rules.
yeah. And she's perfectly suited to it because like she's as a young person, she is calling out things that like was that the Lord of the Vale and the Maester are not even thinking about, and they're like, yeah, definitely. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Put some leather on this, but because she probably once saw her dad like have to put leather on something, and she pays attention. She even says like she's a slow learner, but she learns, and she spent like.
And I love the
13 years
attitude
at
she's been
Winterfell.
having with Littlefinger this whole time.
Yeah, very.
Before she starts
standoffish.
getting all trusting with him, I like her like, no need to seize the last word and all that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait,
Oh, and then Bran shows up, right? That's the next scene?
So there's a few highlights to catch us up. We skipped Cersei meeting with the Iron Bank.
Oh, yeah, the game's happening still.
And she basically is going to pay them back, and then they're like, "Oh, if you give us all our money back, we'll reinvest in you." Then I have Tyrion and Jon brooding.
Yes, she looks so better.
They're brooding together.
And then I said, finally, Jon gets to the point. He finally mentions the dragon glass.
Right? Why did he not mention that in his first meeting with Daenerys?
It was
Because
posturing.
plot.
It was posturing.
Okay, but yeah,
plot.
he tells them what he needs.
Oh, and then also, I think in the scene where Sansa's going around going, we need to do this, we need to do that, we get the news that Maester Luwin kept a copy of every scroll that came in.
Yeah.
So
Which leads us
and
into...
Littlefinger's a
Which
real,
leads us to this
Littlefinger's
ridiculous
like, what?
plot line.
Can I just tell you how little I care about that? They could have literally just walked Littlefinger in at the end and just been like, hey, we're going to kill him.
They're trying
Okay,
to fill
whatever.
up time. It's trying to fill up episodes with story because
then just give me 5 episodes of Arya training with Brienne.
But this was the
because some
biggest-
people complain this is just 5 episodes of just people fighting. Nothing's happening. They're just trying to create story for characters that are kind of stuck in one location and don't have anywhere to go. or to
Danny
do.
season 2 and 3.
I hate to say it was kind of just masturbatory. It was like, well, because the whole time I was asking, is this real or are they?
Yeah, we
I
had a
had
lot
great
of
northern conspiracy in my brain the
I'm
whole
sorry,
time.
I've lost track of what you guys are talking
We're
about.
talking about like the
Sansa,
Littlefinger
Sansa,
plot.
Arya, you know.
Oh,
standing
I'm going
off
to talk
against
about that
each
later.
other.
Okay, cool.
We'll
Let's go
get
back
there
to
later.
it.
But right now, this is just Littlefinger is just trying to find ways to stir up shit because he saw
'Cause
how
that's
good
what
of
he
a
does.
fighter Arya is,
Yes.
and he feels threatened.
And is this the episode we get the Chaos is a Ladder throwback, or is that the next
No, I
episode?
think
Well,
that's-
Bran
the
returns now. Well,
right,
yeah, we already
Bran
got
gets
that.
here.
Has
So,
Brienne,
we'll get it.
has
See.
Brienne squared off against Arya yet?
No, that's later.
Because
So
Arya
that's-
is not
that's
home
the next
yet.
episode, by the way.
Bran's just now.
Oh, yeah,
getting
Arya
back.
hasn't returned yet.
Yeah, Arya hasn't returned yet. So, yeah.
Bran the emotionless has
yeah,
returned.
Bran the, I got too many things to think about to be your brother.
But yet somehow I'm still your brother, and I'm talking to you under the weirwood tree about how pretty
Let's-
you are
let's-
on
I
the wedding.
think I think Bran is gone. He might come back, but for now he is gone.
I don't
and
think
this-
Bran's coming back.
Let's not think too much into it. Maybe we'll find out.
I think he's extremely important, and we've been poo-pooing him, but I think his plot line is extremely
Well,
important.
I'm not saying
we've
they
been
haven't.
poo-pooing him since Andrew read the books and he wasn't a magical wizard. So
Okay, moving on.
We have Jorah's cured. He goes home to dance.
Yay.
Sam is not expelled.
And I'm like,
Yay.
maybe Sam is a wizard because he just like cured it. in
Zero
24 hours.
consequence,
Yeah.
right? He's just like,
He's like,
I
read the
cut
book
him
and
and
follow
I
the
put the
instructions.
Right? Why was that
I
so
just put
difficult?
the stuff on him.
But now his reward is he gets to do copy work, which will become important later.
Yes.
So now when Danny hears about her fleet being burned, she wants
Not
to use
happy.
the dragons to burn Euron's fleet. This
That
is
seems
where
to be her go-to. Like this season, she's
this
like,
is
I'm
where
mad
she
at
gets
dragons.
really cocky
Indefeatable.
about it.
I'm not changing
How
it.
to keep it.
And
My
then,
drunk notes.
okay,
Never change your drunk
and
nuggets.
then we go into Tyrion admits that Cersei knows he will want to take Casterly Rock, yet he does it anyway. And this is where we see the montage of
Montage.
2 epic battles happening in 2 minutes. Would y'all like to say anything else? Because then I'm going to rant about these battles.
I just distinctly remember. Wait, what 2 battles?
The Siege of
When
Casterly
they go to
Rock.
Casterly Rock, and then they
And
take
then
Casterly
the-
Rock,
And then
High
Highgarden.
Guard.
and
Oh,
then
I
they go
just
Highgarden.
remember we had
My stupid notes, but just kill them.
such a long discussion about what those 2 scenes meant when really it was just happening simultaneously.
Right.
Like watching it again, I was like, no, they attacked from one side and they attacked from the other. What the fuck were we talking about? But we were like, one was like him talking about how it should be, and the other one was
Yeah,
actually what
because there
happened.
was a fake battle, and then there was a real battle.
Yeah.
Um,
Honestly, we were screaming and drinking a lot during that
I
time.
think it
So
all was the real battle. It's just
Yes.
because when they first attacked, they had a few men up front, and then when they got inside and got past that first front, they realized.
and we're
There's
back
not
to the
enough
same
men here.
argument.
No, that's not what happened. Was they had the fake attack, which is what is expected, onto
Comment
the wall. Hang on, but who killed most of the people was Grey Worm and his 10 men. They went through killing
Give me
most
10 good
of
men.
the people in there because they were coming from the wrong side.
And they opened
But-
the gate.
Yeah, and they opened the gates to let everyone else in.
Right.
Those were happening simultaneously.
Okay.
Not
So
a
they
single
sacrificed the
Lannister
men on the
soldier
front.
at the gate.
Right, but it wasn't. a
Wait,
fake
you
attack
guys are saying it wasn't
Hold
a
on,
fake
let me
one?
ask this question. It wasn't a fake attack because it was Tyrion's story. It was we're gonna do a fake assault.
Yeah,
while other
they
people
think
come
this
around
is
back.
the main attack, but really we're gonna murder everyone from inside.
I
But they
totally
weren't-
thought it
It
was a
was
fake
a
attack.
fake-
No.
Well, no,
I'll buy
it was
this, though.
confusing because it showed someone that might have been Grey Worm fall down.
But,
and
yeah.
I will
die.
buy this vote. I will buy this.
That- that's-
Watching it again, I was like, clearly.
That's what made it
this is what's
confusing
happened.
because
Like,
it looked like
No,
Grey
it's-
Worm
it's-
fell down
It's
and
like
died.
what we saw was lining up with Tyrion's story, but then and then this looks huge. But then as Tyrion's story finished, Grey Worm was like, there wasn't enough people here.
because they had all floated
And then,
away.
surprise, Euron's fleet attacks their ship.
Okay, we got to keep going, y'all, because we're over
Well,
an
we're
hour.
talking about a whole season, so it's going to
yeah,
be
but
long.
still,
That's true.
we got to keep going.
We are going. Oh, but sorry, I'm going to rant about this.
Yeah, Rand.
I warned you I was going to rant. I feel cheated
Bye.
by this season. This season they cut it down to 7 episodes instead of the normal 10. And the problem was, I don't understand why they would cut down episodes because these 2 battles right here could have filled up an entire episode.
Because they blew
Here's
their
why.
budget on Field of Fire.
I don't
We
care.
haven't
They are
even
spending $10 million an episode at this point. You could have spaced this out because here's the thing. The reason it's annoying is because both Casterly
Ready for
Rock
a rant.
and Highgarden are locations we've been talking about
It's a monologue.
for years.
I agree with you on that.
And then here's the thing. We have never seen those 2 locations. And over the
Go
course
on,
of
please.
5 minutes,
It's different. It's drier.
you introduce the location without us
I
really
like taste
realizing what it is. You do a battle for 90 seconds. You cut to this other Highgarden that we've never seen before, and then skip over that battle, and then that's it.
Mm-hmm.
So
Well, I don't think there was a battle for Highgarden. I think they just took it.
Yeah.
They just mowed the
you
garden
could
down
have.
with their
Then
hose.
where are all the Tyrell armies? The 100,000 Tyrell army.
They were on
people
the
that have-
boats.
Yeah. They're
yeah,
gone.
they were on the boats.
And Olenna even said, it was never our strong suit fighting.
Okay, but can we just talk? I mean, now that Marcus
High five
had his
people
rants,
watching.
can we talk about Lady Olenna's death? for a
Yes.
minute?
I wanted
Because
to know it was me.
she went out like an unimaginable badass. She has been an unimaginable badass. I challenge you to tell me one moment in which Queen Olenna was weak. In this entire series, every other character has had a
Never.
weak
What
moment.
kind of challenge is that?
Except for her. I'm just saying every other character has had like some kind of weakness moment. Never has there been one for Lady Olenna. And when she picks up that glass and drinks, she's like, okay, great.
Good.
And she's just like fucking drinks it down, like
It's
no
like-
Well,
problem.
and she also like I feel like
I
she
got
basically is like, how much time do I have to tell you this fucking story?
So she's like, I mean, drink it quick. Now let me tell you my last confession.
I loved it. Will there be pain?
Thug
Because,
life!
No, I made sure there wouldn't be. Jamie is doing. We were talking about this.
Seems like
Jamie is doing the
cherry or
most
something.
honorable
Yeah, it's like
thing
a
he
sweet
can.
cherry type.
He
I
rang
hate it.
Cersei in,
Yeah.
No,
maybe
I
for
like
the
it.
last time ever that we ever see.
Yellowtail, folks, we got high
And
taste.
He didn't want to murder an old lady with his sword or watch her suffer. That's not
Yeah.
his way anymore.
I think it's
And-
gross that Cersei even considered those
Speaking
things.
of his sword,
she is a monster. Of course she did.
The most murderous woman in the world.
speaking of his sword, because I took a quick accounting here, she does confirm, and if we weren't paying attention, that Jamie has Joffrey's sword.
Yes.
Jamie
Yes.
has Widow's Wail. So what are the Valerian weapons out there right now?
All of the Valerian weapons are heading to Westeros at the end of
We
season
have-
Winterfell.
7, right? I'm
That's
sorry,
not
to
my
Sorry,
question.
to
We
Winterfell.
have Widow's Wail. We have Oath
Keeper.
Keeper.
Heartsbane.
Both ice,
Heartsbane.
both ice though. I want to
Yes.
say.
What?
Yeah. Both are ice. Both are nice.
Yeah, but they're not ice
Yeah.
anymore. They're Widow's
Um,
Wail and Oathkeeper.
Oh, what is about Oathkeeper? Heartsbane, which is the
Heartsbane.
Tarwell
Heartsbane,
sword.
Longclaw.
Longclaw.
The dagger.
And the
dagger.
cat's paw.
Cat's paw.
Is that
The
is
dagger.
that what it's called? Cat's paw.
They're calling it the cat's paw everywhere, so that's the what I
Yeah.
Because
looked it up.
because they called that assassin the
Yeah.
cat's paw or whatever.
So, I mean,
And
that's
she
all the
also has
Valyrian
cat.
steel that we know of.
So that's
that
all the
is-
Valerian steel that we know of.
But they're all going to be in Winterfell.
And they're
all heading to
bringing
Winterfell.
Mountains of Dragonglass too, so that'll
Yeah.
be good.
Oh, and then this season
Sam
ended
just
with
got
the
there.
Brains of Castamere dance mix.
Jamie's on his way, everybody. And also, for the first time next season, we are going to have both halves of Ned Stark's sword in Winterfell.
Oh. All right, so episode 4, Spoils of War.
Fucking, this is where the budget went, y'all. This
So
in
Bronn gets
episode
paid
6.
and off to beat farmers. He set off to beat the farmers.
All right, so all of the food to feed
I don't
the
even remember
entire
what happens
country
before.
for the winter is
The loot
is
train.
in this line.
And wait, okay, but can we? I know this is jumping ahead, but does all of that food get burned?
Pretty
Did
much.
Dany just starve the entire
Well, no.
country with her dragons?
I feel like they say that the gold is already.
Okay, I want to be really
The
clear
gold
about the
makes
gold
it-
here.
The gold,
gold
makes
is
The
gone.
gold,
The gold-
went first.
The gold
Makes
is
it
in King's
to
Landing.
King's Landing. It is given to the Iron Bank. That is done. The deal is done. For anybody who is confused, all that is over.
We thought that the dragon like burn, skip,
no.
burn.
The first thing he said is the
Done.
gold has made
The
it
gold
through
is
the
there,
gates
but
of
we need to
King's
hurry up
Landing.
and get the food.
So much online
Bronn sent
confusion.
off to with them to go faster.
The Lannister pride had to be assuaged before they fed the
Right,
people.
yeah.
Well,
Lannister
actually, they
always
don't
pays
mention
their
the gold
debts.
at this point. They mention it right before the dragon attack. This
Yeah.
is just collecting the
Yes.
food.
Yeah, so, but, no, Brenna, she has paid off her debt, so now they lend her more credit and, like, back
Bronn
her
is
up.
great in all of
And
this.
She makes the statement I find interesting. She has to recover some things that belong to me.
Hey, Crystal.
Hi.
So I don't know what that means, but there's some things she feels belong to her that she still needs to recover.
Okay.
Okay.
She
don't
said
remember.
that to Iron Bank. Blah blah blah. I was like, great, because I have a few things. I need to recover some things that belong to me.
Isn't she
So-
talking about Westeros?
Yeah, I would imagine she's
I
talking
don't know.
about the North.
I mean, she says some things. Westeros isn't multiple things.
Well,
She
and
says
Pike
recover some
and
things.
Dorne and all the places she's lost to Daenerys. That's what I assumed it meant, at least.
No, it seems a little more specific than that.
They still
We
have
shall
to get
see.
We'll see.
River Run.
Yeah. The Blackfish still has it.
Yeah, I
Oh,
just
no, they lost
I don't
it.
think. I don't think those specific
That's happened already.
castles are what she's talking about.
No.
Okay,
Well,
next.
Unless she's talking about the seven.
My next note is the reason we hate Littlefinger more than ever now is because his hand is showing we see through his game and his bullshit. More
And his
so than
accent.
ever.
This is where Baelish gives Bran the dagger, and where Bran says chaos is allowed.
Yeah.
Of
And it's
35
like,
days.
ooh.
Okay, wait, can Kate just read her note
Yes,
really
yes,
quickly?
this is too good.
Because I was drinking when I watched this the first time. The question of who had the dagger started the War of the 35 Kings. So, whoa! That's a lot.
It's all in the book.
All 87 kings have shown up.
Because
Okay.
in this scene, Baelish thinks he's playing Bran, and then when Bran quotes him back, it
Completely throws him off.
Bran is so... It's, again, that sort of idea as Cersei. Like, these people that are playing the game the old way, their way is gone. Like, the things that you are looking for, the things you're looking to accomplish, and the way you're doing it is gone. We have all moved on to a higher level. We're all dealing with bigger stuff, and you're still down here being petty, which is why Littlefinger and Cersei both lose their power.
Well, but I think,
season.
to his credit...
Even Tyrion, I would say.
Baelish probably thinks, I keep down here playing my game, and when all of this clears out... I'll be in position to take over.
He just can't deal with reality the way it is.
So I have a question, and y'all are perfect audience for this. So who really sent Bran's assassin to begin with? Was it Littlefinger, and did he give the assassin the dagger to do it?
I thought it was
the Lannister.
They confirm in the books that Joffrey did it, but they don't mention that in the show.
But why would Joffrey do it? No, Joffrey is proven to be the guy who sent Meryn Trant to kill Tyrion.
Yeah, no. See, what
I
it was in the books. No, here's the thing. In the books, it was Joffrey, and he did it for the sole purpose of. Oh well, he's already crippled. He wanted to like put him out of his misery.
Really?
Yeah, that's.
I'm gonna be rereading the books.
No, and see that makes no sense in what we've been watching.
Yeah, so in the show they never they don't say it was Joffrey.
So in my mind, that dagger, Bran, like Littlefinger was always an agent of the Lannisters, at least at that point. So it had to have been Littlefinger who actually sent. The assassin against Bran.
I agree. It doesn't make sense in the show.
Because the assassin said, you're not supposed to be here, and Littlefinger would have never made a move against Catelyn like that.
Well, no, I mean, I'm not saying Littlefinger wasn't involved in making the assassin go.
Because it was his
dagger. But Joffrey was the one who said, I want him dead.
For sure, the dagger itself was meant to not only point at Tyrion, but for certain was given by Littlefinger.
But we only thought
yes,
it was
but
Tyrion
the reason
on
assassin
the word of
went to kill Bran was because Joffrey wanted to happen, and then Littlefinger made it turn.
I feel really weird about that.
Why did Joffrey want?
Well, like you remember that moment when Tyrion was telling him like,
we read the books to tell you.
Yeah, we gotta reread that.
Hang on.
Why wouldn't it be Jaime and Cersei who wanted Bran dead?
I thought Jaime.
No, it was meant. The whole Joffrey thing was meant to stem from that moment when Tyrion was like, "You need to go up and you need to show your support as prince," and he's like, "Oh, I hate the wailing of women," and blah blah blah. So he was like, "I'm gonna."
Honestly, this question cannot be answered until we read the book. So let's move on.
All right, so bye, Mira. That's my next. Yeah, Mira's just like, okay, I need to go home, and
don't care. Move on.
He's like, bye. All right.
I was over her 3 seasons ago. Let's go.
Yeah.
Welcome back, Arya. Stark Children reunion.
The best guardsman at the front gate of
Winterfell.
Oh,
God.
Can I say one of them is given a name on IMDb, Conor, which is the younger one.
Yeah,
he's an actual up and comer because
he is. What is he in?
Howard's End.
Yes, he's in Howard's End, and he's so cute.
Because when I saw him this time, I went.
When I saw him in Howard's End, I was like, I know him, and I was like, oh, he's a stupid fucking
I didn't recognize him from Howard's End, but I was watching it again. I'm like, wait a minute, and I'm like, Howard's End.
If you've watched Friday Night Lights, he's a British Matt Saracen.
Well, I don't know any of that, but I do love that scene. Arya coming home, connecting with Sansa, but not completely. That's what I like about Game of Thrones is even in this season where they've moved on past what George R.R. Martin has written, and we have to agree that once D.B. Weiss and David Benioff took it over, it became much more fantastical. Like, the last, 3 seasons have been much bigger and much more about the special effects, whereas what George R.R. Martin was more about the interpersonal relationships. And I feel like that moment was so perfect for her character and so great between those two characters that it brought us back to being, very realistic.
Yeah.
Yes, we are family and we care about each other, but we also are strangers.
Yeah.
We don't
haven't
know
seen
anything
each other
about
in years.
each other.
Can you imagine how long it would take the two of them to sit down and say, so, after Father died, I left King's Landing and blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And then,
can you imagine Sansa telling Arya what happened to her with Ramsay?
And also, they have basically, become...
Which she did, though. Yeah. She did it.
Yeah. Become adults. They've become not full adults, but, fully formed beings without each other.
Oh, they're adults.
Yeah.
There's no question.
I wrote, and I like these 3, Stark's walking through Winterfell, Brienne and Pod, yep.
That's not
I wrote Brienne's oath is finally fulfilled.
Somebody finally took Brienne's oath
She's
and
like,
let
"Oh."
her complete
Finally,
it.
and then Littlefinger is sitting there feeling
She
threatened.
can now
Well,
die in peace.
So I think the notes I have kind of go back to just before this. So one thing I know with Sansa and Arya's reunion, that the first hug was expected, but it was the second hug that was real. Once they got a measure of each other and they realized they've both been through some shit.
I liked that moment.
Yeah,
that is absolutely true. I buy that.
Because I said, they're still family in the end, and they know experience will bring respect. And the sniping sisters, for the most part,
Yeah.
the sniping sisters are gone.
Yeah.
And then, but then later, I don't know if I'm skipping ahead so really, and because she mentions the list, and then when they go talk to Bran, and you see this look on Sansa's face. Oh,
yeah.
The list is real. I thought you
Yeah,
were joking.
Yes.
She's like, no.
Yes.
Yeah,
Now-
and to be fair, like, what they had to argue about before was Arya basically Arya likes Hot Wheels and Sansa likes dolls.
Oh,
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
that was the argument before, and now it's like, we both have done shit and we have to deal with that.
Well, and back then, they were kids. They're going through puberty, and life was just miserable when you go through puberty.
Now, I do have to say that, like, everybody has, especially online, has been shitting a lot, like, Arya came back an assassin, and Jon's King of the North, and Bran's a three-eyed raven, and what the fuck is up with Sansa? But, like, you have to think about it. Sansa is the first one in the family to bring to the Stark family what they didn't have before, which is an ability to play the game.
It
an
is
ability
a
to be
strategy.
backstabby, an
Yeah.
ability to... Things that the Starks, this was not a strength that they had before because they
No.
were like honorable and blah blah blah. And so
and we
I
get
think
that-
she's really valuable.
We get that for a moment where I thought about it of like she like both Arya and Jon are very much of their or of Ned Stark of this like if you give the sentence you have to give the punishment as well. Where
They point that out
spoilers
sometimes.
when she's like Arya fucking kill Baelish like
Y'all are forgetting about the R's of the Stark clan. Your Rickons, who would have been a badass at like schmoozing, and your Robb Starks, who played the game.
Fair
and lost.
enough. No,
But they're dead
neither,
and gone,
none of them
so-
knew. Like they still played. I feel like Ned Stark's way. She is like Maester Aemon. Remember the scene where Alistair asked Mr. Aemon, how do you acquire this knowledge of being able to tell who lies and who doesn't? He says, I grew up in King's Landing.
Ah.
Sansa grew up in King's Landing.
Yeah.
She has acquired this superpower. So
And
What?
she grew up under Littlefinger, too.
and Cersei.
And
Like, those
Cersei.
are her two main
Yeah.
influences. So I think that we need to not discount her ability because, we've got the
I'm
Night's
not.
King, but we also have Cersei to deal with. And I think Sansa is their strongest weapon there.
Yep, because she knows Cersei.
Well, she and John talk about that, or did talk about that before he left.
Yeah.
All right, are we there now? My next note is Dothraki attack.
Attack who?
No.
Oh,
No,
are we at the
let's see.
fight?
No, we're not
Okay,
there yet.
before we do Dothraki attack,
Okay,
let's make
so
sure
The
we cover
Dragon
everything.
Glass Cave.
So
no we've skipped a few things we skipped
No, I told you I was going to skip.
That's what
No,
I'm
yeah.
talking about.
Yeah, so we skipped Miss Sunday and Danny having their talk about the sex.
Okay,
And then
before
John
we do
walks
that,
Yay.
before we do that, I had to note
I have to
that
pee
things
some
are getting
wine out.
complicated for Baelish. I think as he's
Yeah.
seeing everyone getting, he's like,
Yeah.
trying to keep his, his
Ducks in a row.
But yeah, I just have girl
He
talk,
doesn't have
and then
ducks
John
anymore.
shows Danny the Cave of Wonders.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
John takes another lady into a cave.
He's good at
Yeah.
caves, I guess.
And you know what? I
He's a
noticed
caveman.
that is the first time that he touches her.
Yes.
He reached out and he takes it.
And
He's
he's
like,
like-
"Oh, point your fire over here."
Yeah.
Let me
Towards
take
my
you deeper
penis.
into the cave, milady.
Yeah.
And then we also get Tyrion giving the news that like so we
Oh,
first
Casterly Rock.
we
totally fucked
took
that up.
Casterly Rock,
But-
but
Well, and I think John is the one who gives Danny the idea of how to make her first big attack.
How
Yeah.
so?
Well, because she says, I want to just go burn everything down. And says, well, if you do it this way, you're just like everybody else. And so what she does instead is she attacks the army directly.
Yeah.
She doesn't just go burn it all down.
After the Tyrion thing, I wrote, see what had happened.
so what happened
happened
You know how I
that
told
was
you
my
it was
note.
going to go all down like this?
Exactly. That was
what
that
happened
whole
was-
scene was this.
So,
we also get the moment of Arya and
Brienne
Brienne.
and Arya.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
that's the
Oh, is that when
Oh,
they do
Yeah,
that?
Arya and
best
Brienne,
training
and that Baelish needs
episode
his
ever.
brown pants.
So,
Yes.
so sorry, real quick tangent.
It's
Did
bullshit.
anybody see Did anybody see before Arya and squares off with Brienne? There was talk on the internet about Catelyn being in the scene because Arya says, "You promised my mother to serve both Stark women," and you see a woman very much dressed like Catelyn with red hair walk around walk past in the background of Winterfell right at the moment she mentions her mother.
I think it's just another lady with hair.
Bullshit.
Yeah, it's bullshit.
That's interesting, though. I like all those conspiracy theories.
No, but I would
It
like
was just a well-timed extra chance.
It's like the J plus R, like R plus L equals J on the wall. That's probably not that.
But my point is, it's a show that's planned. Nothing happens on accident. Not even
Yeah.
an extra. Like, why do it right at that point? There could be something there done.
just to make the fans go, "The fuck was
Exactly.
that?"
Yeah. No. Absolutely.
It was the
They're
ghost
just
of
getting us
Winterfell.
riled up.
Extra walking around.
It was
the
a
fucking
ghost of
castle.
Winterfell.
And I would like to point out that those two actresses really were doing that fight.
Yes.
Wow.
I love watching.
Watch the video.
I watched that video of them both in like t-shirts and leggings. Just like
Yeah, like they filmed one of their rehearsals,
Exceptional.
and Maisie Williams literally does the thing where she pulls the knife out, flips it around, and like catches it with the other hand.
Does she do the breakdance jump up?
I don't know.
I think actually, but I
wouldn't
think with
be
the
su-
help of wires.
They're breakdance fighting.
It's no.
Then we
That,
have boy talk.
Boy
yes.
talk.
Skip
Yeah,
over
John-
boy talk and
Boy
Queen
talk
of the People.
where Davos has a little crush on Missandei.
Sunday.
That's good times. That's
Okay,
just
but
good
listen,
filler.
And
then
they talk
John
about like
Davos.
Dany's
I love
virtues.
Davos.
We were talking about that. We were
In
all
this
team
season,
Davos.
I am totally team Davos.
I mean,
Yeah.
I feel like I've been. To be fair, he is the father from the the little princess. So
I think
I've always been Team Davos.
Controversially,
So
I think
much.
he would make a better hand of the king or queen than Tyrion.
Ooh, that is controversial.
That's a debate.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna
He's
have that
Jon-
debate
he's
right
John's hand, right?
Yeah. Well, we haven't.
More or
really
less.
voted
Make him a
in,
better
but
hand than Tyrion.
Not officially.
all right.
Okay,
and John
next.
and Theon. John and Theon.
Great
reunite.
fucking
Oh, yeah.
moment.
They meet, and he's like, "I
Great
won't kill
moment.
you."
Oh, yeah.
So many feelings.
And then we have the loot train.
Theon's road to redemption.
Woo!
Train.
Okay. Oh my god. So this was.
I fell asleep right here. Man.
Yeah, I wrote Dothraki.
Dothraki! You're right.
This is the first time we really see like the full Khalizar in full-on battle. They are
Y'all.
standing on their horses, fighting. And
All I
As-
wrote was Queenie is going to blow shit
I have to say, and we talked about this during it, one of Robert's greatest fears, expressed in season 1, is only a fool would meet the Dothraki on an open field,
Yeah.
which is exactly what happens. We've been waiting 7 seasons to see the Dothraki on the open field, and they do not disappoint. Those stunts.
Bronn calls it. He goes, "Those fuckers are about to swamp us."
yeah,
Those
and Jamie's
stunts.
like, "We can take him," and then he hears the dragon.
dragon.
You always hear the dragon before you see it.
And then he comes down out of the clouds to fly.
Yes.
I mean, just incredible.
I
chill.
don't
Give
think,
all
I
of
don't-
my money.
I don't think there has been a moment where those dragons show up where I haven't been like,
Sorry, I'm drunk. Go ahead.
no, it's good. Where I haven't just been like,
Yeah.
even rewatching it, like I know the dragons exist. and
Cinema
I've
Blend
seen
is
this
calling
before.
them fire pups.
So
Well, see, and then I have Dany is very strategic about how she uses the dragon because she sees the Dothraki are charging in, so she goes in right ahead of them and breaks the line.
yeah,
Before
And
they
then
charge
the
in.
only thing really that she attacks with the dragon, first
Is
of all,
the-
she tracks the loot train.
yeah.
Literally, she doesn't go after the Lannisters. She allows the Dothraki to actually fight them. Half, I would say, probably because she doesn't want to kill her own people.
Right.
And the other half being that she doesn't want to mercilessly kill people with her dragons. She wants to have a fair fight. But of course, still later, we still get her burning a whole bunch of fucking
Well,
fire.
no, but at this point, strategic-wise, it's like, there's my enemy's food supply. Go straight down that and burn that
Yeah.
up, so it's like...
Except that's
I
also
think-
your
No.
food supply and everybody else's
We
food
also
supply.
see like this interesting. I found it very interesting. We see the different levels of dragon fire because they can
Yes.
set shit on fire, or they can turn humans to ash that gets
This
blown
was
away in a
like
breeze.
dragon napalm.
Like
Yeah.
you see, and they can control it because, like, you know, when they're burning stuff, they can set it on fire, they can burn it to ash, they can burn it. Or there was one scene where they burned a whole group of people and
Yes.
they flew away.
They didn't even
Like-
get to do this in Slaver's Bay. Like this is
No.
the first time she let Drogon just. Off
And
the
this is,
leash.
I think, the biggest we've ever seen Drogon be
Yeah.
as
Yeah.
well. Like, he's massive.
And she only
you
brought
think he's
him.
gonna get bigger?
Yes. Do you not remember we watched that whole like 15 minute video where
He
they
gets
compared him
bigger
with Bale
every
on the draft?
season.
Yeah.
He's a grown boy.
Braun has. I love Braun in this. Here's the tricky thing about this battle is that we don't really want the dragons to die, but we don't want Jaime to die. We don't really want Braun to die either. Oh, Tyrion's in there too. We don't want Tyrion to die. It's kind of
And
hard.
you definitely don't want Danny to die.
No!
It's hard. Like, who the fuck do you root for? Braun has that badass moment where he's trying to get to the scorpion. He's like dodging through fire, charging the
It's a
Dothraki.
very Battle of the Bastards
That
style
was the first
shot.
time you ever saw Braun be shook in any kind of
Yes.
Well, and
And he
also you
was-
pointed out this is the first time we've seen like Braun in
In
open
full-on battle.
battle. Like,
Because he was there at the
wrecking
Blackwater battle,
lit it
but
on
he
fire.
was up
Yeah.
on the
Yeah, he
cliff.
just had
His
his
mission
job.
for that was to set the lake on fire.
And the notes I have in this battle is, first of all, Dickon saves.
Dickon!
Yeah.
So
Good
I
old
wrote down
Dickon.
maybe he'll remember his name now. And then
No.
Braun loses his gold. But when it's all said and done,
I really thought Braun was gonna
there
die
was
after
something
losing that
Braun
gold.
said maybe right before the battle happened that made me wonder just for a second, like humorously, maybe Braun will sit on the Iron Throne at the end of all this.
Oh.
Who said that?
Because there was something he said to Jaime that I was like,
He could be
wouldn't
head
it
of the
be
King's
funny?
Guard. Head of the King's Guard, I'll allow it.
Yeah. Okay, and then this was because I had predicted that Dragon was going to die this season. I was terrified because the way this is the brilliant editing of this scene. So Braun gets to the scorpion, he shoots the Dothraki out of there like there it is, it's there, it's ready.
Yeah.
And then it cuts to the music suddenly gets very quiet. It hits this low note and just shows Drogon just flying over the water. And then as he, flies up and he shoots at him, he misses. But then he loads it the second time, and you see Drogon charging right down for it. And it shows a close-up of Drogon opening his mouth.
Yes.
And then it shows him fire. And then you don't quite see where it hits, but I could have sworn that was going to go straight through the back of his skull.
Yeah.
Right into Danny.
Yeah, and you
Right.
could, but at first you couldn't tell where it hit. You know it hit him. That sound is awful that he makes. But then suddenly they're free falling, and it takes several shots for you to be like, wait, where is
hit
it?
him-
Oh,
it
I
hit
was
him
just
right
in his shoulder.
Right
Thank
in the wing
God.
joint.
Now, I want to talk for a minute about Jaime's bravery.
That was my next
Because
thing.
he's freaking amazing. Like, no matter how we felt about him in the first few seasons, and he is still kind of a jackass sometimes, he is a completely brave character.
Well, and we get back
He's-
to like the Jaime that there is lore of being this
right, of being
amazing,
this
like,
guy who
person.
ran first into the
And he,
battle
like,
and who stabbed the Mad King.
It
and
takes him
who-
a split second to be like, "There's a spear. There, let's." Oh,
Well-
Jesus! Sorry.
My
No.
Well, cause see, I watching this time, I thought like, oh, is he having like flashbacks of before he killed the Mad King? When he's sitting there, burn them all, and he's watching his people burn.
I think he is. I think he's like, this
And he
is
saw
what I
that
fought
moment, and
against
he
the
saw,
first
like-
time.
Yeah.
He saw her once she fell to the ground. He's like, there's
You
a
can
spear.
completely understand his feelings. Like, you can totally get where he's coming
He
from.
thinks if he kills this one queen, they will end the war, they will end the bloodshed, and no one else will be burned. That is what he's thinking, and that's what he's trying to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I mean,
it's incredible. It's an incredible scene. It's a lot of the dichotomy that Game of Thrones does, where you're not sure who you want to win. And I think this is the first battle where we weren't certain who we wanted to win.
No, well,
Because
and-
like we wanted Stannis to win in Blackwater Bay. We wanted him to
Yeah.
come save Sansa,
Save Sansa and
defeat the Lannisters.
We were hoping the
We
Lannisters
wanted
would.
John to win, even though we kind of cared about the Wildlings. We wanted John to win.
Yeah.
We always wanted John to win, of course, against Ramsay, but we never had a battle where we're like, I honestly don't know. I just want everyone to survive and,
and
be
luckily
happy.
they did, but it was this whole like, hang on,
I do feel, and I agree with the internet. I'm sorry. I do feel like, and I agree with the internet that Jaime being pulled out in his full heavy armor is a little bit of plot armor. What
Do you
mean?
know how many knights have died from drowning? Because if you fall into
The
water,
armor is just too heavy.
Like it will pull you down. You will sink.
Yeah.
There's no just flapping your metal-covered arms. And
that was
coming back
definitely
up.
a little bit of plot armor for Jamie. I
Yeah.
honestly
Yeah.
expected him to
But
die.
also, he was riding along the coast, and then they fell 2 feet off, and now the water's like 20 feet. deep.
Right, yeah, it shouldn't have been that
So
deep, but
whatever, we'll just go with it. Braun saved him, and
this is the kind of thing that I think has been added. There's certain moments where you're like, wait, I don't believe the realism of this, that you can tell that the filmmakers or the TV show makers have taken over from George R.R. Martin's realism.
Well, and know that, you know, if how the books have left us,
Drink.
the loot train Jamie will not be at the head of the army at the loot train.
It's very possible, yeah.
well, I think the show made a badass show of hit,
Yep.
regardless how
And
the
they
book
definitely-
turns
they made
out.
it- yeah.
Great scene. Really
All
thought
right,
everybody
so
could have
moving
died.
on. Episode
I have like 5
Eastwatch.
notes for Eastwatch because I was just
Okay,
enthralled.
good. Maybe
I
we'll burn
was
through these.
We gotta go. We're
So-
not even halfway through, son.
Yeah, I was like,
It's
episode
insane.
4?
It might be a 3 hour. I don't even know what's happening.
Well, we're
We only have
discussing
3
seven
episodes.
Zach Baxter
We
of
only
the
have
Jack
3
Baxter
episodes
channel.
left. So Jamie and Braun live. Tyrion surveys full dragon carnage.
Yeah.
And Tarly gets what he deserved, though Dickon is a fool.
This is what I want to talk about. I want to talk about the Tarleys for
How did
1
they
minute.
kill Dickon? He's so
Okay,
pretty.
Dickon, because
Well,
he needed to go
whatever.
be on Umbrella Academy.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
why. Okay, so
No, and I saw that
yeah.
actor in Black Sails too. So
Oh.
I just like the actor.
So here's the thing about Danny
Let
killing
me check
the Tarleys. I think it has further repercussions into us moving to season 8.
notes on this.
So we have Danny kills Dickon and Randall Tarley, and
Yes.
yeah, while Sam does not care much about his dad, that doesn't mean he wants his dad killed. And also, as much as he doesn't like his dad, he still loves his brother.
Yeah.
So we get these terrible deaths literally one scene after, or one episode after we watch Sam heal Jorah. Then Jorah comes back to Danny as her right hand man, and we have this dichotomy of Sam saved Danny's right hand man, but Sam's family was killed by Danny, and now they're all gonna reunite in season 8. I don't know what kind of conflict that's gonna create.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to create much conflict.
I don't
With
think
Sam,
so.
You really
Sam
don't
is
think
not a
Sam's-
conflict person.
You don't think
Yeah.
Sam's gonna care about his family being
No.
brutally
Well, sure.
murdered?
He abandoned them.
Jello shots!
Not to the
Jello
point.
shot list.
Not to
Get
the
it
point
down.
that it's going to create conflict.
Conflict. I agree. Yeah.
I think it will create conflict.
If anything, the conflict will be with with her killing his brother more
Yes.
than the dad.
I agree
honestly.
with that. I completely
Because
agree with
But
that.
what kind of conflict
What
will it
happened?
create?
I don't think
Like, oh my
anything
God, we
really-
can't follow her anymore.
Well,
She
but
killed
he
my
doesn't
brother.
even-
Yeah,
when does
I
he
don't-
find out that they're dead?
I mean,
I think
could
that's
also,
more interesting.
I was
than
gonna
what
say I could
he
also
feels
see
with.
it going as Sam's like, I'm the Lord of.
Oh, of Hornhill, but he doesn't. He has sworn
He's
off
got
all
the
his.
sword.
No, but he's a part
He's
of the
a
Night's
member of the
Watch,
Night's
so
Watch.
it's
But if the
But
Night's
so
Watch
was
is
John.
defeated, you don't need a Night's
But
Watch
so
anymore.
was John.
No, but John died.
No, well, all right.
John's
it's going to
watch
be an
was
upsetting
ended.
moment, but he's not going to like try and kill Danny over it.
I'm not saying he's gonna try and kill her. I'm saying it's gonna create conflict. Those two are not the same thing. Okay,
it's gonna
move
create
on.
Conflict.
We don't have time for their conflict.
I don't think it's gonna create.
Because see, I think in that
I
moment,
just
as
don't.
bloodthirsty she was being, Danny made the right call. At that call was.
I mean,
the
she
right
killed
call.
two people to save
Yeah.
all the rest
Yeah,
of them.
that-
So I
and
get
that's
it.
all you need to do, okay? But if she
But that
backed
doesn't
it-
excuse everything.
No,
But
it's,
that
it-
one,
you
what's his face is a
can't make
dick.
your first threat and then back down from the one threat that you
Yeah,
made. No
I
one
agree.
would take your threat seriously.
Yeah,
ever
that's
again.
fair. That's fair.
That's why she did it.
I wrote.
I kind of thought Drogon was gonna eat her.
No, for sure
Burn
she's
him and
gonna
eat 'em.
burn everybody.
Burn 'em and eat 'em.
I mean,
He's gonna
maybe
die.
she
Dickon
did-
says yes, me too. She burns them. Exclamation point! Exclamation point! At.
Tyrion and his feelings about burning. Tyrion doesn't seem on board with this, and I am with Tyrion.
Oh,
He's
and-
probably
and-
had
and-
some VD. He knows a thing or two about.
And
burning.
I'm
a
randomly
Tyrion.
reminded at this point that John does burn. FYI.
Yes,
Yeah,
we did have that conversation. There's
I mean,
a lot
it's
of
not that, it's not. I mean, it's not like a Targaryen trait. It is a Targaryen, like she's blood of the dragon, whereas her
Right.
brother wasn't. And so John may be Targaryen, but he's not. He doesn't have that special.
But
gene.
he might not get like iced or something. He might not get burned by the ice
Like
fire of the
Smirnoff,
dragon.
yeah.
We haven't discussed that yet.
Not yet.
Ice fire or super hot propane?
Or whatever we're going
Dragon
with that
propane,
Viserion
dragon
is
propane
now.
accessories.
I think he's immune to Viserion, but that's a theory for theory time.
So then I have Jorah returns
What if
from his
John
quest.
rides the ice dragon?
Oh, boy.
Ooh,
Okay, sorry,
We
moving
need to
on.
focus on getting through the.
Okay, go.
So Jorah returns with his quest fulfilled. We talked about that.
Blah, blah.
And then Bran does recon.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, with Through the Ravens.
Walkers are still
He
approaching the
finally flies. He
Oh, wait,
fulfills
wait,
the...
wait. We skipped that Jamie tells Cersei that Tyrion didn't murder
That happens.
Joffrey. Okay.
Yes.
That whole
We
scene
have no
was rough
feelings.
anyway.
And John pets the dragon.
yeah.
Oh, John pets the dragon.
Because Drogon senses his
I don't
Targaryenness.
know that we skipped that.
Yeah,
yet.
that's immediately after
We super have because I took
Fire.
notes as we were watching live.
Okay.
That's after, Field of Fire. Okay. What's next, Andrew?
Now we have Jorah. Then we have Jorah.
Okay, then we have Jorah.
He touches it and
So,
then she
I
gets
guess
off.
I was reminded that John Burns when he was like making goody with
Yeah,
the
yeah.
dragons.
John is not immune to fire.
Sam teaches the maesters they're foolish old men
Yeah, I think this is where we start seeing he's over it.
because they're like, oh, we got this little note from the Winterfell. Ha ha ha! Army of the Dead. He's like,
Lot of-
I've seen it, bitches, and they're still like, whatever.
Your family just died. Sucks to be you.
But
I mean,
they don't tell him.
But they don't
honestly,
tell him.
He's trying to convince like
sorry.
a team of professors, like, we need to do something. We need to help the war effort. And they're like,
Archmaesters
we're academics, and this sounds like bullshit. Like, we're too smart. for it."
Well, and we've lived through
I'm sorry, can we just Kate read her notes real quick?
We also skipped this. The reason that Sam has his conversation with the Maesters is because they're reading a letter they got from Winterfell, and I wrote for this whole scene, ravens, bunch of ravens, big ol' White Walker on me. Bran was Wargans.
Oh, God.
Night King saw they need to send ravens.
But they said all the ravens up north.
Bran was Morgans?
Brenwo Wargate. It's his
Okay,
name.
sorry. Andrew's trying to be serious here. We're being
I'm
ridiculous.
sorry, I didn't
Go.
understand half of what you said because you're laughing. So I'm
Sorry.
Laugh at it.
Bunch
Okay.
of ravens.
Lots of ravens.
Bunch of ravens.
Big old ravens.
Send ravens.
What's next?
Tyrion and Varys discuss the Tarly
Oh, yeah.
situation.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, well, that's unfortunate.
Basically.
That's
But it
basically
does-
the whole conversation
I think it
about.
does lead a little bit into season 8 and how Dany is going to choose to go, because even at this point at the end of season 7 she still has the option to be a conqueror whose purpose is only to conquer, or somebody who's actually going to stand up for the realm. And I think
Yeah.
that's what that scene is about, is how do we guide her into being the right kind of leader.
Right.
Maybe Jon Snow will guide
So,
her.
then we
Very
have
good.
Sansa and
That
the Lords of Winterfell trying to,
They're kind of like, where the fuck is the king in the north? He
Where's
should
fucking
be in the
king
king
in
of the
the
north.
Still don't care about all that.
This episode is just everyone hanging in hiatus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And and I think it's an important scene because Arya's watching her. If Sansa was a Cersei person, she could have grabbed power right then and there.
Absolutely.
That's
She
true.
could have said, "Yep, you're right. I'm in charge."
Yeah.
But instead, she placates them and she holds the North as she promised.
And I do
So-
like the dichotomy of the two sisters. Like, yeah, Arya's all let's stabby McStab everybody. But again, Sansa brings to the Starks what they didn't have before, which is the
Diplomacy.
ability to, not just like, we can't always just be
Oh,
blind,
strategy.
like, we're going to do whatever is right no matter what. No, you have to
Yeah.
be able to make the system
And-
work
It
for
is.
you.
It's strategy.
It is strategy.
And then we have a scene where I think Arya does her first kind of test of Sansa. She's pushing her to kind of so that she can be sure of her, that she isn't a Cersei power grabber,
Yeah.
that she really is.
Hi,
a true
6
star.
people watching us.
Tell us if you have any comments, any thoughts, concerns.
Or how drunk you think we are.
Well,
You know.
That's-
And then
I'm not.
Tyrion and Jaime. I have a note on Tyrion and Jaime. They're meeting in the.
Tyrion and Jaime
basement.
meet in the
Meeting
basement.
basement.
Can we talk about the last time they saw each other, which was the end of season 4, 3
When
seasons
Jaime
ago?
released Tyrion
When
To go
Jaime
kill their
to
Oh,
go
yep.
kill their father.
Yep.
Shay.
And Shay.
Fuck her.
That was
And
amazing.
then-
Fuck
But
Shay.
Cersei knows about this, so Cersei definitely has her
More
spy
likely.
network set
Cersei
up,
knew that was all happening.
Yeah.
and she allowed it to happen.
That-
But then later she what?
For a second, I was like, Audie.
I just started pouring
Oh
the
god,
wine.
giving them a drink to catch up. I have an important comment.
But we also, before that, we get the first time Jamie says that, going back to what I said, that where he says he knows that they can't fight Dany multiple times.
Yeah.
Tyrion says Dany will win, and Jamie's like, I know.
I know.
Like,
Yeah.
fucking, I know, because
That reunion between the brothers and even Bronn was just priceless.
It's so
The
emotional.
look on Jaime's face and Tyrion, what he said about the sparring sword, just fucking amazing.
But you can also see like Tyrion's human side and how he kind of gives into the hatred that he had for
Yep.
his father.
But-
like he tried to kill me. Why can't you understand what I did?
And-
like he's trying to validate the things that he did.
Well, and I think Jamie kind of sees his point of view.
we also, this is the first time Jamie has obviously encountered Tyrion since all the shit happened.
Yeah.
But when we last heard Jamie talking about Tyrion, he still thought he killed Joffrey. And now he knows he
Oh,
didn't.
that's right.
And
Yeah.
so
That's
he
what-
knows the only thing he did was murder Tywin, which
Tywin.
Tyrion never said he didn't do.
Yeah.
And you
And
gotta. Can we talk for a second about Bronn? Can we hand it out to Bronn, who is just like, I could get killed for this, but I'm gonna do it.
Well,
His ruse to get him down there was fantastic. He goes, yeah, you need all the fucking practice you can
and I'm
get."
gonna bring
Yeah.
you with a sword
Down
you
here.
can't actually do damage.
But
Yeah.
also,
with.
like, why do we have
Yeah.
to be down here? You want people to see you fighting with this shit? Like,
'Cause
you're
you suck it.
terrible. But, like, I got a little bit of feeling of Bronn from this, of just like, I know this could go bad, but I want to watch.
like the audience, he's totally the audience. In
You
this.
know he's skulking behind a skull like, oh, fuck.
This is fun. Okay, what's
And then
next?
we get Gendry.
Gendry's
Gendry!
back! He's done
Gendry
rowing!
is not rowing anymore.
And we get that call back to what the audience has been
Pure
saying.
fan service. This whole scene was pure fan
Thought you'd
service.
still be rowing. It's like, oh, we
They were
all
literally
did.
like, wait, what does the audience need to immediately emotionally attach to Gendry? Oh, he
Rowing.
needs a battle axe, and we need to talk about rowing.
Donald Hammer.
A war
And
hammer.
also,
Sorry, Warhammer.
I love that Davos has like the whole like, I am ready, I'm prepared to give him this speech and convince him. And
This
Davos,
is, we see him go
Davos his
back to
ass
smuggling
off.
now.
Davos logic his ass
Ass
off, and
off.
he's like, we need to go north. All right, let's
Yeah.
go. Like, I'm ready.
Davos says one of the best things, time fucks us all. That was
Yeah.
Not,
Davos,
he's
that was
nothing
great.
fucks you harder
I
than
like
time.
Great scene. We all knew where he was going when he said, I'm going to Flea Bottom. There was no surprise. We were just
I
like,
was a little
it's
surprised,
happening.
probably.
this is
I
great.
was.
Let's move along. And then we get the amazing axe scene by the
fermented
seaside.
Hammer.
No, the fermented crab is
I
a
am
nice
ashamed.
touch.
I think
Well,
my
see, here's
favorite.
it: is that they gave him the
Oh, so
weapon
much
of
yelling.
his father.
Yeah.
They gave him his father's weapon, and he never knew that. or
Who's
maybe he
waiting
did.
for that Arya Gendry
Me.
reunion?
Oh my god, so ready.
We are like
We're all ready.
already.
Yeah.
I think my favorite part of this was when they had the boat with the just giant ass war hammer in it, and Davos is like, "Yeah, come over to the boat," and Gendry's like, "I don't." What? And Davos
Yeah.
just flips over. Look at this.
This
yeah,
is the
ta-da.
best moment to see Davos
He's a
as a
smuggler.
smuggler.
His skills.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
He's
great.
not
It's not going to help him in the final war
And
against
of
the Night
course,
King.
the
but-
son of a crabber has fermented crab
Yeah,
as his
look at
That's
rib.
true.
Yeah.
I didn't even
Great
think
shit.
about that. I didn't even think about the fact that he's the son of a crabber.
Yeah.
And I like.
He's from Krabos.
I'm a son of a bitch. So.
All right. We need to move on
We
from
need a
Davos.
drink for that
Moving on.
pun.
So we find out Cersei's pregnant.
Allegedly!
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 Okay, here is my big prediction. Because I know we want to do predictions later.
Where's
and
the
I
picture?
have no idea how to predict anything because it's George R.R. Martin and so many things that want to happen and not happen at the same time. This is my big prediction.
Show us your big prediction.
Qyburn has been treating
Twins.
Cersei for years.
Yeah.
I think this pregnancy is unnatural.
Oh!
You just blew
That's
my fucking
Good.
I never thought about
Whoa.
that.
Ice spider unnatural?
Yes.
Mountain unnatural.
I mean, she
Oh,
says you're the
God.
father, but Jamie may not be the father because somehow.
they-
You heard it here first,
Well,
guys. I haven't seen
yeah.
this theory on the internet anywhere. And that's what I do, so.
Damian Lannister? Is that where we're going? Yes. It's all for you, Damian. It's all
It's
for
like,
you.
it's gonna have the face of Jamie, but it's gonna be something awful.
Hashtag Damian Lannister.
Damian Lannister.
Damian Lannister.
Here's the question: would you rather it have the Jamie face or the Jamie body? And then the mounts
It's
and
a
other things.
child, so they don't care.
Wait, if it's unnatural, maybe it's
Okay.
not a child.
All right. Anyway, that is. I never
Okay.
thought of that
So
before.
I
Yeah,
support
just
your
say.
theory,
I
but
love
I think
it.
it's young Sam who is the demon.
I mean, who
spawn.
knows? Who knows
Yeah,
how?
man.
It
Oh,
could be
there's
that
much
Jamie
conversation
is
we had about that.
It is Jamie's child, but the way that she got pregnant was just not natural.
That's very interesting. Okay, next.
Jamie and perfect.
Then we go to Sam. He will make good. What do I have? He will make good maester. He will make a good maester.
No. Before
Yes,
we
I
get,
say sit. Go ahead. There's just something before that.
Gendry and John are besties.
Yes, I
Great
love
scene.
it.
I love
We
it.
get
John-
and
Call back to season
Davos
one.
being like, you're Clovis forever, and you're
Clovis.
Clovis, and you're Clovis, and you're nothing
He's
but
like-
Clovis. I'm Gendry. Fuck! Like,
He's like, I'm Robert Baratheon's bastard son.
And we harken back to season 1, the meeting between Ned Stark and Robert
Yeah.
Baratheon.
No, because
the,
they're like, our
the
fathers
slight
were best
insult
friends,
and
so.
then the laugh.
Yeah.
So, great moment in sports. Moving on.
now we're at.
I bought that
Tyrion
relationship
and Jorah are
instantly.
friends. Okay, so these are the 4 things I wrote about the next scene. So who fucking knows? Tyrion and Jorah are friends. Jorah and Danny and John boats away.
This
so,
is the separation.
They
Yeah.
decide to go get a White Walker from the north.
Yes.
John heads north to Eastwatch by the sea, and Danny stays by to friend.
Yeah, check.
She stays behind to friend and wait for news.
So yeah. So now we get to Sam and Gilly, and I say Sam will make a good maester because he treats Gilly like the maesters treated
Treat
him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
he
that's true.
blows right past her finding out that John is legitimate.
Legitimate.
That scene
But
lost
Gilly
my
takes
credit
fucking
for it.
minds.
And
Well,
then later he takes credit for it.
what I think is so great about the relationship is that Gilly is just like steps. You know, like, or just she
She's like,
knows
why are you
Sam.
acting like a little bitch?
She knows Sam is upset. She knows Sam is stressed, and she's all like, you're nervous.
Zach, I hope they're
talker."
ready for
Like,
a lot of yelling.
so she's not offended by
much
the way
yelling.
he's treating her. She's just like, whatever. This is I know how Sam
you need to
is.
drink
Yeah.
because we're on a new level of drunkenness. Okay.
God, only 2 more episodes
No,
go,
and
or
I
is
just
there
want
still
to
more?
point out
Yeah, keep
how
going.
during that scene, I'm sorry, I have to point out during that scene, I'm watching it at home, and my dad walks through the door, and I go, "Pay the fucking attention, Sam!" And my dad goes, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "He's not listening." She just gave away one of the most important plot lines of this entire series, and he's not listening.
I cannot tell you how many reactors missed that little
What
tidbit of
does
information.
ignorement
What?
mean?
That moment of, what's
Gilly.
a Prince Raga?
Prince
Yeah,
Raga. I'm
Raga.
like, how could you miss that?
And you cannot imagine the amount of reactors
so
that missed
mad.
it.
Man, am I right?
Yeah.
Okay,
I was
next,
so mad.
we-
Sorry.
both
and
of
so-
you with notes
And
left.
so he makes a decision
Sam
to leave.
raised the restricted section.
He goes through restricted.
Yeah.
And then my question is, how does he know he has the right books?
Yes,
'Cause
he's
he
just
just grabs a bunch
grabbing.
of shit and leaves.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Plot, people, it's plot.
He could have grabbed the Westeros or the Essos Karma Sutra for all he knows. It's in the restricted section full of the maester porn.
Look, he might need that, okay? He's gotta make Baby Sam too. Okay,
That
next.
is true, he does.
So I have Baelish is totally playing Arya,
Ugh.
but is she
Whatever.
cool enough? Because that's the whole thing.
Yeah.
It's like okay, so Arya's following Baelish, but Baelish is playing her. But does she know that he's playing her?
I
You know,
think she
Where
knows.
does
does
it
he know
happen?
that she knows that he knows?
Yeah.
It was so obvious.
they know we know.
Yeah.
It was so obvious that they were both kind of watching each other. Everybody was,
Yeah.
in sight, and Littlefinger saw Arya. Arya saw Littlefinger, but they made it like, they didn't see each other, but they did.
Did,
And
yeah.
I will say her little lockpick set was that lock looked tough to me. I don't know.
Do you think? I mean, I know we might be moving into the next one, but do you feel like Arya manufactured that conversation with Sansa, or do you actually think she believed what was in the letter up to a point?
I have been asking.
I
This
think
question
every
the whole damn
conversation that
time.
Arya has been having with Sansa is
Is
a
staged.
test.
Yeah.
It's
Yes.
a test.
It's a test.
And it's like,
She's
I'm
playing
gonna
the
I'm
game.
gonna come at Sansa this way and see how she reacts.
Yeah.
But it,
And Sansa passes those tests every single
so
time.
then,
That's
at what
well
point?
said.
So it's just at some point off camera, Sansa and Arya had a conversation of we're gonna fucking murder
Well,
Littlefinger.
I have a little bit of an answer to that because
Yes, but I think when it comes up again, this all starts to build ahead of the next episode, so let's
Yeah,
not
it
jump
is,
ahead.
yeah.
So, but
is there
because
anything left?
Yeah.
John at each.
Oh. 'cause
No,
then
they
I
start the
have-
Magnificent Seven.
Then I have Tormund can hope.
Oh, I ship it.
'Cause
Tormund
he's
and
just like,
Brienne.
Brienne? And then,
No, that was the next
that's-
season.
Yeah, I
No,
know, but
next
he says
episode.
something here, because I say Tormund can hope.
No, it's
So
at
it
the
has
end
to
of
be
this
on-
one
He
that
goes,
he's like,
"Big
"Did you
woman?"
bring the big woman?"
Yes.
Yes.
To bring the
Yeah.
big woman.
Yes.
All right, I have it coming up. Are we done with that episode?
Yeah.
Oh, and then I
Okay.
say, aren't they a ragtag bunch, the Magnificent Seven?
No,
They're
no,
great.
Well,
Yeah,
and,
I
Did we
and
talk about Thoris D-Teen in the cell? That was just tough to watch.
Yes, he was going
That
through
was
detox.
so tough.
and also John is the one who brings them all together because they're like, should we not, should we? And John's like, we're all
breathing.
fucking alive. Yeah, we're all breathing.
I love
Let's
the
go.
history everybody's bringing with Gendry and the Thoris
Not
Amir
brothers.
and the
Jorah
Okay, so
Mormont meeting,
Jorah
meeting
and
Okay,
the
Daemon.
Wild
can we move
Wings
to the
and-
next episode? Because I want to talk about that.
Yeah.
Mark is about to come in his pants. Go.
Okay.
Well,
We're a
looking
rated
at that
R
whole
video,
team
right?
of men.
Okay, episode
He
6.
got into the fermented crab.
So I swear, like all of these scenes up until the bad shit really happens, all of the scenes with him north of the wall is literally, it's like a buddy comedy. Starts off like they make fun of
Yeah.
Gendry, who's the newbie who's never been north. They have the Brienne and the Hound and Tormund.
What they do is classic Game of Thrones stuff is they build up a bunch of characters for you to absolutely fall in love with them before
dick.
putting them in mortal danger.
Right.
So, I would, again, my small moment from this is when Tormund is like, have you met her? And the Hound is like, oh no, the Hound is like, I got murdered by this giant woman. He says something, and the Hound is like, yeah, she looks at you like she wants to murder you and rip out your intestines. So you have met her. I want to have babies with her. Like, that's his, like, next
Great
two
big
lines.
baby.
I
Conquer
support
the
this
world.
relationship 100%.
So you have met her.
But it is
100%.
a team of the most badass people
Yeah.
in this
Yeah,
show.
agreed.
So,
You
but
could
before
not.
we get
Biggest
to
fuck 'em up.
Before we get to Tormund poking the Hound, what I have on their first part of their buddy movie is that Tormund gives John perspective on bending the knee.
Yes.
You know?
What
Yes.
a great piece of
And
Which
then
cinema.
leads to the
Hound
end of
gives
this
Gendry
episode.
perspective.
I also think
Yes.
that's so important where Tormund, who is like now essentially the leader of the wildlings, was like, Mance maybe made a mistake. Like,
Yeah.
you know, I know we're all about not bending the knee, but he should still be alive.
How many
like,
people died for his pride?
right.
And then the Hound gives Gendry perspective on the
Whinging.
Brotherhood.
And also, you got
Gendry's
naked with a
whinging.
lady, like, chill the fuck out. What's
And then
the
there's
big
male
deal?
bonding all around
was an
over
old lady, but he
loincloth.
didn't.
So
He didn't know. So yeah, I really enjoyed all of these moments, but again, it's all, and I knew it, I could feel it, because I've been conditioned like Pavlov's dogs by Game of Thrones to feel like anytime things are funny and ha-ha, bad things are coming, which is exactly what
And
happens
then a
in this
big
Jorah
season.
giant
gives
bear
two
shows
back.
up.
Yes.
And
But-
this
that bear, by the way.
but before the big giant bear shows up, we have Arya confront Sansa about the note.
No, yeah.
That
and
was
she
so
starts it-
tense.
She starts it in this like way of like looking
So
down and
intense.
talking about, oh, remember
standing
when-
exactly where Ned Stark and Catelyn Stark stood in the
Stood,
first
yeah.
season.
And also, the story she
And
tells
Pilot.
is the first time she got approval from her father
Yes.
for being different, you know. And so this is where she has a place of power where she can come at her sister for the thing
Right.
she found.
So, and she comes at her, and what
Intense.
I wrote down is Sansa holds her own and doesn't fall apart, which I think is what I think if Sansa like panicked
Yeah.
and like truly panicked and like freaked out, she would know that that would mean that Sansa was more of a Baelish Cersei person and not a Stark person.
Yeah.
But she holds her own. She doesn't lose her shit. And then my question here was, and I don't think she necessarily does, is does Arya know yet that what Baelish is up to? I don't know that she does. I think
She knows he's up to something.
But she pushes Sansa's buttons, and Sansa stands and holds her own against her,
Yeah.
which I think.
If
is
you
why-
have any thoughts,
is part
please
of the
let
reason
us
why they
know.
don't fall apart.
Yeah.
No, I agree with that. I don't think Arya knows yet.
Okay.
About
Yeah,
what's
we're
gonna
getting
happen.
to the-
We're
yeah,
getting
yeah.
late, and I'm getting drunk.
Tyrion
What's
and
happening
Dany.
next?
But we gotta eat. But so
Talking
Tormund
about-
pokes the Hound. That's where we have the whole Brienne conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Dany and Tyrion discuss succession.
And,
And he's
well,
too sh-
Ooh,
and
that
he's-
I
people
think
were in
that's
love
the
with
most
her.
important part leading into season 8, because that's really what we're focusing on. is what's-
Right.
because their child is going to be important. There is no doubt in my mind
But
that they
I
have
think
a child.
I struggle with this conversation because I'm fully on Dany's side, where they're like Tyrion's like, we need to know what happens after you're gone, And she's like, that doesn't fucking matter until I have the crown. Because if she dies before she gets the crown,
it's still
what does it
Cersei's.
matter?
Alright,
It's still Cersei's.
This goes into the whole predictions. She doesn't want to have this conversation about who will sit the throne when she's gone because they're setting it up. Because my prediction is no one's going to sit the crown. They don't need to have this conversation.
That's my prediction.
There's going to be either nothing left or she's going to realize it's not about kings and queens and monarchs anymore. It's about something bigger. It's about something else. And there's no need to have this conversation about succession, which really serves no point in the grander story other than they're setting up what's to
But I
come
think this
next.
entire
that's not why
season
she says we don't need to have the conversation.
Of course,
No,
but
this-
it's what the show is using.
Well,
This
no, but the thing is
entire-
with Dany right now is that she is still on a high. She just got back from the loot train battle.
Sure.
She's on this high from a victory, and she's like, I'm indestructible. I'm not going to die. My dragon
This
just
is
did
very
badass things."
Romanesque, like the generals that would follow, or like the subordinates that would follow the generals around and say, "Remember, thou art mortal." That's what Tyrion is doing to Dany. Like, yes, you've had these great victories, you've got all these armies behind you, but you are at any moment an arrow could take you out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all it takes is one
this
well placed
is
arrow,
all-
and everything we've worked for falls apart.
This is
One
all the-
well-placed ice spear.
The first
Oh,
time.
Drake.
Well, that's about
This is the first time he points out that like she has a temper, because like when he says like you need to meet with Cersei, but also we need to like temper it a little bit because you can be a little aggressive sometimes. She's like, the fuck? And he says,
Thank you for proving my point.
and he's like, the Tarleys, and she's like, all right. This is also, I
He's
pointed
like,
this out.
You have a bit of a temper. I do not.
Why would you say that?
I kill you.
But also, when they're talking about like the heroic characters in her life, and she names all the men, and he's like, "Oh, they're all in love with you." She's like, "Jon Snow's not in love with me." He's like,
Oh, honey.
And then he says, "He's too little for me."
They
Like,
all
I
have
love that.
names.
To
They all got
Tyrion.
that oath
She
thing.
says that to
and
Tyrion.
he's like, "Okay," because that's the second time she bashed him in that conversation. She's like, "Oh, you're
Yeah.
not a hero."
Whatever, I'm on board with it. I'll ship it. Anyways, but that's last episode, right? I think this is the...
No,
No, that's
Oh,
the
is that it? Yeah,
That's this episode.
So,
All right, and then we get the dead bear.
Dead
Thoros
Bear
gets
gets the red
mauled.
shirts and the red priest.
Blah blah
Big
blah.
fucking
So
bears.
yeah, I'll just do this scene in a blizzard. They set a fire. Dead bear is killing everyone. Thoros got mauled. They cauterize it with flame sword. Woof. And
Okay, I have two things to say about this episode, Eastwatch. First of all, I find it extremely,
Beyond the wall.
I'm sorry, beyond the wall, extremely convenient that there was a single White Walker that was not turned by the original, a single
We're not
white
to that
that
scene
was
yet.
not turned by the White Walker. I thought we
in that
were.
No.
group.
No, we're not.
This
no,
is
we're
the
just doing
bear.
the bear attack.
This is the bear.
Okay, so the
ripping
bear
their-
happens. Let's
ripping
move.
their-
That's
Next
why I
bit.
moved on.
This is
I
the
did
bear
the scene
ripping
and
their
then we
extra
started.
life portal to shreds.
This
Okay,
is what
but are
happens
we
when
done
I
with
tried
that?
to move on with the scene.
All right, Sansa and Littlefinger, and they want to send Brienne down to the meeting.
Okay, that happens.
Well, no, it looks different. They don't. The Brienne getting sit down in the meetings later. I don't know how that. Because Sansa and Littlefinger, this is where we're watching it the second time. Now that we know how it ends, this is where I said Sansa knows that Littlefinger is up to something.
Yeah.
I agree.
Because now that we know everything, it's like Sansa would not have come to Littlefinger and said, "Oh my God, she had a note. I didn't know what to do." Da, 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 da.
And
Yeah.
so,
Yeah.
and so how much of this is Sansa playing Littlefinger?
I think all
It's
of
all
it.
of it.
All of it.
I
Because
think-
because
That's
now
my guess.
Because now she's testing Littlefinger to see what he does, and Littlefinger starts playing his game, and he's like, "Oh, why would anyone? Why would your sister do this?" And he's like, "Oh, and then get Brienne to like do something and intercede."
And this is the one scene where you can see it on Sansa's face. She's fighting all the battles in her head. She's taking Littlefinger's
Yeah.
advice.
Yes.
And
Worst
doing,
case
And she's
scenario.
outplaying him finally.
Yeah,
essentially.
because especially after the scene where Bran's like, "Here's the dagger," and she's like, "Who gave that to you?" And she's like, "What did he want?" Because he wouldn't have given you unless he wanted something.
Yeah.
So which means she wouldn't have gone to Littlefinger and been like this dismayed sister if she wasn't playing him.
To add to that, there
Good
is a
well said.
deleted scene that they discussed not only on the internet but also in the Beyond the Episode, where she goes to Bran with this knowledge. She's like, "Look, I'm not sure if I trust Littlefinger.
It's a
I
deleted
need you."
scene?
It's a deleted scene that exists. I believe definitely on the DVD. I'm not sure if it's also online. But basically, she goes to Bran and she says, "I'm not sure what to believe in this situation. I need you to point me in the right direction." And Bran tells her, Littlefinger is in the wrong. Chaos is a ladder, because that's what all of those scenes lead to. Yeah. And then that's when she makes a decision. Great, I'm going to choose my family over Littlefinger.
That would have been key to see in this
it's extremely important, and they did a lot of it in Beyond the Episode, and then the extras.
But looking back on it, knowing how she feels about Littlefinger, seeing the scene again, going, oh yeah. This is not the current Sansa. This is the Sansa that Littlefinger still thinks exists.
It would have stolen from the mystery of Arya killing Sansa and vice versa.
Right,
if they're fighting, it would have removed too much doubt in the viewer's mind. So,
okay, what else is next?
Magnificent Seven find a stray group. Only one survives.
Okay, so back to my thoughts, which was again, I'm very Bran and Night King focused right now. They're living on the game level. I am way beyond in the supernatural. Anyway,
okay.
I feel
Hello,
like
6 people.
hi 6 people. I feel like the whole like one white wasn't turned by that particular White Walker was extremely convenient.
Yeah, I agree.
He was the
It was
Clovis
definitely
of the group,
very convenient, but you know what? I'll allow it.
Maybe they had killed a couple of other whites before.
I'll allow it. I'm not going to give it a bunch of shit, but I do feel like that's one of those moments, and that's kind of what's been becoming more and more obvious to me, is the moments where it's really D.B. Weiss and David Benioff as filmmakers at Peace People trying to create a fantastical show that's going to make us all react, as opposed to George R.R. Martin, who grounded this entire thing in realism. So I think what you guys are talking about, which is the game, is a lot more of George R.R. Martin stuff, and I think this supernatural stuff and how much it has taken over is more David Benioff and D.B. Weiss.
Okay.
Anyway, that's all I know about that.
And so then we have, my next thing is One Last Red Shirt and Gendry Rosen runs.
Yes. Damn, Gendry runs like. Okay, but I want to address that a little bit, because everybody was like, "How does he run back so fast?" First of all, they don't go that far. They travel for a single day.
We don't see any camping.
Slowly walking.
They set out at
He
daybreak.
runs his ass back over there with no weight. So let's all just calm down
and it does take him like all night to get there.
And they're on the island for like a day and a half. They're like there for a whole night.
If any of those people have endurance, maybe not in the snow, the fucking guy who's been working a hammer and anvil the whole time, the guy's in shape.
Yeah. So I have no problems with the timeline there.
And so, but
that was a long time ago.
This is a weakness. Well, I hope obviously comes into play. The dead are connected to the walkers, but not as a whole. That there is some individuality there. So if you kill one walker, a bunch of them will go down. But not all of them.
They even talk about it, and then that's where they're like, if you kill the Night King, they might all go down. Yeah.
But when Daryl and Rick go up against the walkers, they lose a lot. Oh wait, wrong series. Anyway.
That is true.
Whoops.
We don't watch that shit anymore.
Whoops-a-doodle.
And then this is where I get Sansa gets the invite to the big meet and says,
Yes, you're right. Yeah.
And I think she does this.
I'm glad we're having this moment, Zach.
She does this for two reasons. I think one, A, she's not going to leave the North, and B, Littlefinger put Brienne up as a tool to be a wedge between her and Sansa, and she
Did you
gets rid of the wedge.
turn him down? That was so mean.
No, I agree with you, Andrew. 100%.
Yeah.
I don't
Okay,
know
what's
going on
next?
over here,
I don't
No.
know, but I was listening to you.
I was trying to comment, but my autocorrect made me sound drunker than I am.
wow.
Go ahead.
Hello, that's all. Danny is HPPP.
Can I just talk about Kate's line that says, "How I'm throwing rocks"?
I was so pissed. I was pissed
my
watching that
God.
again today.
Yes.
You little shit. Especially
Oh,
having spent the
God.
weekend with children throwing rocks in a river, or in a lake. I get it. Like I
Welcome
understand.
to the Knights of the Drag Watch.
You're bored, but still, if you're trying to pretend that the lake is not frozen, don't throw shit on it to prove it's not frozen.
He's thinking about the future. Their softball team, Westeros, United. He's
The Braves.
Throw.
The Westeros Braves.
We're never going to get through episode 7.
Okay, let's move on. Is there anything left? Danny comes
We
to
have
save
the
him.
lake battle.
Big battle.
So here's the thing about the lake battle. So
wait for me.
Come on back there.
this is just making me very
I
scared.
know it is, yeah.
Just
And
let
he's
it
about
go,
to, like,
Andrew.
throw
Just let
himself
it
on
go.
What?
Okay.
So if the Night King needs a dragon to take the wall down, did he have a way to know it would come?
Well,
Like, was this part of a trap in hopes of drawing out the dragons?
Well, I think there's a lot of variables going on that kind of might go against that, because Jon himself made the choice to go up there and steal a single White Walker. And then there was the battle. Then they got trapped. I think there's a lot of variables leading into this for it to be a plan.
But they let them sit there and be trapped for a long time.
Okay, I have a theory about that.
I don't think they're that smart.
So
What are we
No,
talking about?
the whites. The whites are not.
No,
that
I have
but
a theory
the
about
walkers
that.
are right behind them.
Because, for example, when I don't remember who it is, but they start hitting the White Walker that they have in their group that's been their captain.
The
Hound's kicking it.
Yeah.
The Hound's whoever's
Yeah,
kicking
the
it.
Hound kicks it
Anyway.
and we all react.
The entire army reacts, which to me
We're
means
learning a bit.
they are
No,
all one
no,
brain. They are all
It's
connected.
not the entire army. It's part of the army.
Really?
Yes.
Prove your point, please.
I don't, because there are
I think she's
100,000 aren't walkers or whites there.
Yeah, they do
And-
give us the numbers.
And they
about
kind of
100,000.
scan over, and you can hear Game of Thrones is so good at sound. If every single person in that army reacted, it would be a den of sound, just chaos. And it is loud, quiet, loud, quiet, loud. So as they scan across, because just like that one White Walker getting killed didn't kill everyone, this one getting hurt didn't hurt everyone.
Damn, this show is deep.
This show is really good, but I was paying attention.
That's why this talk is taking so long.
Wait,
But
sir, no mandible? Okay.
I
Okay.
mean, but
I'm
this
getting
I
way
mean,
too drunk, you
whether or
guys.
not the Night King was expecting it, I could go into a whole theory about the prince that was promised, which might go into a bit of that, but we don't have time
Well,
for that.
the Night King brought chains to this battle, so he had a plan.
Oh, hold on,
That's
we're gonna talk.
true.
we're-
That's true. I didn't even think about that. Okay.
There's
no
one
one.
chain
I
somewhere.
have that note later,
The
but
chains
I
of
think that we
battle.
are at that note right
No, we're
now.
not. We're not. We're not.
that's
We're
the
not
end of the
there.
episode.
no,
So,
because they.
we have big fight. Oh my god, everyone's gonna die. Very scary.
He just described every Game of
Dragon
Thrones
shows
fight.
up.
Tormund
Like-
almost eats it. The
I
Hound
was
saves
so
it.
scared for Tormund.
When Tormund says,
Yes.
"Oh my
God, I
Oh my
nearly
God.
died. I nearly
I'm going to
died.
make big, beautiful children. No.
No, that is my baby daddy.
Yeah.
Okay, no.
Y'all better stop.
All I can say
No.
is we're playing in the background of somebody's Sunday night because there's been at least 5 to 7 people watching the whole time.
You guys,
Yeah.
thank you for watching. Comment,
Hearing us
subscribe,
ramble.
like, follow us
All
on
right,
Patreon.
no, but
So-
I must
just
say
in
that.
case everyone in the room didn't know, Adi just commented, "Are you drinking Weaginar?"
That's what Zach and I were laughing about earlier.
Okay, sure.
All right,
moving on.
no, but all right. When Viserion went down, that's still hard for me to watch. Just
No.
like
It is.
that
sound.
the sound he makes, and then
And-
he starts fire coming out of his chest, and then it just turns to this
And you see his
black
blood flowing
And there is
out of his chest.
because this is the equivalent. Obviously, maybe a little bigger, but the equivalent of the scorpion, whatever you call that, and it.
And we all knew what was
Drogon-
happening the second he pulled out that ice spear. We were like,
Drogon
But
didn't
we
have-
weren't
wait,
ex-
but Drogon didn't bleed that much. So
No.
these ice spears have
this
some
took one
magic.
ice spear and he
No,
was
but
dead.
And it
but I
was-
also wonder if the difference is just
The Night King
like
is powerful.
the Night King hit the jugular where the scorpion didn't.
I don't
I
know.
do
though.
vote
Well,
for
also,
Night King
he
magic.
threw
The
that
Night
with
King
his
threw
arm,
javelins
mind you.
there
literally
was-
back in high school because he knew what the fuck he was
Yeah,
doing.
no,
with
there
it.
There was so much
The
blood.
Night King magic got it up there, but I think it just that one
Yeah.
hit
The
the kill.
Night King magic gets
it's
it
also
up.
the iciness of it. It's ice and fire. We've got ice spear versus a fire dragon. I think there is some magic.
This was a lament of ice and fire.
Because you watch the Night King and all of his actual White Walker put out fire as they walk past it.
Yeah, they're so cold they extinguished the flames around
So
them.
I think their magic does count for something, at least in that throw of the ice spear. Okay,
All right,
next.
are we done with the
You should
whole
play
fight?
javelin for the
Then
rest
John
of the
acts
time.
like a little bitch.
Benjen saves John.
Yeah.
Ben-
Plot
I
is
thought
ex
that-
machina.
I thought that was a cop out
Benjen
because
Ex Machina,
Yes.
because watching that scene, the moment that Viserion got killed, yeah, we saw Drogon. They all got on Drogon, but Rhaegal disappeared.
there.
So I was totally expecting that would be the moment that Rhaegal would fly down
I would
and
have
save
preferred this.
Jon.
I would have
I
preferred
would've
this
preferred that too.
to Benjen randomly showing up.
Yeah.
Twice!
Ah,
That's
that's why
twice
we did
Benjen has shown
How
up to randomly save a
convenient.
Stark.
Benjen Ex Machina.
I just
Yeah,
am not
I
down
didn't-
with it.
I
It was
didn't care about that at all. That would have been the moment
another, I
for
think-
Rhaegal to fly in.
I think that's another D.B. Weiss, David Benioff moment as opposed to a George R. R.
It'll be
Martin
interesting
moment.
to read it in the book.
If
Well,
it ever
see, but
happens.
here, could you imagine this? The next
my
scene,
deathbed.
when Daenerys is up on the wall, feeling sad that she left Jon behind. Can you imagine her lady bits opening up when she sees
Oh my god.
Jon flying in on her dragon? She's like, I will bend the knee to you.
You heard it here
Anyway,
first, folks.
Moving on. It's been 2
All right,
hours.
so next is Sansa.
Arya in Sansa and Arya's room.
Oh yeah.
And she finds and that like again.
The mask.
I am
Oh my
surprised.
God,
Watch
faces.
still going
Back
again.
to
How
faces.
surprised I get when Arya or when Sansa opened up that bag and just pulled out this Halloween fucking mask that I knew was a face. I was like, oh, I don't like
Lambskin,
it.
ooh. Bad.
No.
Was that? I want to know that second one. Was that supposed to be Walder Frey?
Oh, Walder
Oh,
Frey.
for
It was,
sure,
it
Walder
looked like
Frey.
Baron Trent
He said
and
the first
Walder
one is
Frey.
Baron Trent.
Yeah, for sure.
That's what
I
it
don't
looked
know that
like.
she had Marin Trance.
But
thing.
for
You
sure it
didn't
was
see
Walder
it very
Frey.
well, but that's the only. In
Well,
my
because
mind,
she
that was
just
the only
killed him and
thing.
left him in a brothel. She didn't take his
Yeah.
It
shit.
could've just been
I'm sorry.
Frey,
Did you
too.
see what she did to his face? I don't think he would have much of a
Yeah.
face
She
left.
did it to the eyes. She didn't do it. To
The
Yeah.
point is, she can do it to
Anyway.
anybody from now on.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then so
From off stage, go.
then Sansa Arya like stealths in because she's just in the scene now. Like when you watch it, it's like, oh, Sansa's creepy, and then they flip to the door and Arya's like, "What's up? You got a problem?" And they play the game faces. This is another one where every scene in this season between Arya and Sansa after they first meet is like, are they? Do they ever? Are
It's
they
very
like
on edge.
fighting, or do they know what's up? And I do like whoever said that this was the test for everything was a test for Sansa.
Yeah.
You know, because like Arya knows what's up. She has a goal. She's not changing. Like it'll take a lot for her to change her goals. She might add some goals, but it's going to take her a lot to change goals. So
I hope you're here all night, Zach.
right. And so this is her being like, "Are you on board with my goals?" Every scene they have together, and this is another one of like, "Can we play this?"
reunification of the Starks. This is how you turn strangers back into family.
Yeah.
Well, and so Arya makes it sound like a threat, and then she turns around and hands her the knife. I think that's the final thing. It's like,
I agree
you
with
passed
you.
all my tests.
Yeah.
I agree with you.
We are,
But I could still kill you if I,
can
really
still
I
wanted
could
to.
still kill you.
But we're on the same page.
Don't fuck with me, but we're on the same page right now. Okay,
and
so
then finish this up. John and Danny. John is shirtless. Danny's into it.
She
I'm
sees the
into it.
scars.
Okay,
ship
I
it.
want to know, was she
John-
looking at his scars or was she looking at those washboard abs?
I was
'Cause
looking
those-
at both.
That's exactly what
Drink.
she said to me.
Because those were totally the abs of Kit Harington. What?
Drink.
Drink.
Oh, hold on. That you could tell Kit Harington did some crunches right before that scene because, like, seriously, like if you just been laying down there
Is that
sick
how
and
it
dying, your
works?
abs are not that.
But also, like, this is the moment where he calls her Danny, which
Join
is hot
the Zach
enough.
Baxter workout channel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's non-existent.
But he's like, "Oh, Danny," and she's like, "I don't remember the last person to call me Danny. My brother, he's a shit."
Oh, that was.
And he
Right.
goes, and then like, John's got some fucking moves. 'Cause
Right?
then he says, "How about my queen?"
He learned from Egret. Can I just say, he learned from Egret and from Tormund.
Yeah.
Remember when Tormund was giving him
Yeah.
dating advice?
Yes.
He's like, look.
No, it was fucking advice.
fuck
I'm pretty
this up.
sure.
Yeah.
Don't go too fast. Don't go too hard. Chill.
No, but like no one ever refers to her as Danny except the book readers.
How did he even get
I
that?
still call her
I don't know.
Danny.
I mean, but yeah, no one
I think he just,
He forgot her name and he had.
is
half
like
of it.
he was
Yeah.
like, you.
Daenerys.
Oh,
He
God,
got,
he
you
did
lost.
fuck it up.
Apparently, that's part of the Targaryen genes.
He goes.
That hoe over there.
Dougie,
Okay, we don't need to waste time on why he calls
Okay,
Danny.
sorry,
It's been
like,
2.5 hours.
We're too drunk. Keep us
Drink
on
every
task,
time Andrew
Andrew.
points out our time.
Right?
Thank God Andrew's keeping us on task.
Ice
And then
Dragon.
the
We're
Night-
done.
I'm hungry.
Episode
The Night
7.
King
You're
has
right,
his
you're right.
battle
Keep us
chains.
on task.
The Night King has his battle chains.
Oh my gosh, okay, we're kind
Oh.
of ignoring where those battle chains came
Where
from.
did they
I
come
was
from?
so emotional
White
then.
Walkers dove
Who
down
forged
into
those
the
fucking
water
chains?
to
Add to
tie
that-
the chains
sorry.
around the dragon, and then you pulled the dragon out of that thin ice
my
and
God.
the
Wait,
weight
can
of
we
the dragon.
add that
just-
whites
He
don't
reached out and touched
swim?
the dragon.
That's the whole point of Hardhome. Whites don't swim.
Yeah.
They don't get in the water.
So how
did they get down there?
It's
to get
bullshit.
What kind of bullshit is happening
the
here?
Churches have big like grappling hooks.
Yeah, okay.
No, see, but then they pull him out onto the ice.
It's
The
a
ice that
natural
was
20
broken and
versus
shattered,
that one.
yet the weight of the dragon doesn't crack the ice.
Yeah,
They're
fine,
Valyrian
okay.
steel
All right,
chains,
regardless
obviously.
of the physics
Then
of the
all of the
situation,
whites would die.
regardless, the
If
Night
it meant
King
getting a dragon,
wakes him
yeah,
up
I'd
and he has himself a bloody dragon.
And I like how he like puts his hand and we're all like, we fucking know what's gonna happen.
Yeah. Oh my
Like we
God.
all know.
Yeah.
Okay, moving
All right,
on to
6,
final
7, Dragon
episode.
and the Wolf.
Let's just finish it off.
All right, so the
Oh,
Unsullied
you think
are
it's that easy,
outside
huh?
of King's
hope
Landing.
Landing,
so.
the Dothraki show off. Shows of strength for the big meat.
This
Yeah.
episode is literally pure
Yeah.
fan service. It's just
Thank you.
like the characters that we want to meet reuniting. Everybody's reuniting.
Magic
Podrick
Cox.
and Magic
you see
Cox.
the look on everyone's face. Everyone is terrified of the other side creating a trap. They're just
Right.
like,
Oh,
"Ugh."
And then we
Are we
get the
gonna die
best
here?
entrance of a queen of all time.
Oh, I
When
think
Danny-
the Hound enjoys his job, by the way.
I do.
Is
Just
Daenerys.
A lot of reunions going exactly the way we had hoped they would.
I love the Hound. He had a little smile on his face, finding
With
out Arya
Brienne,
was
yeah,
safe,
yeah, yeah.
and she
Oh,
was okay.
and I said they could make a buddy sequel with Brienne and the Hound.
Easy.
Now see,
Easy.
everybody's like Tormund and Brienne. I'm Hound and Brienne.
No. Hound and Sansa, sorry.
Wait, what?
Hashtag Sansan, the fanfiction world knows what I'm talking about.
The
This
Hound
is
and
from,
Sansa.
like-
Anyway.
Yeah.
Arya the
it's
Sansa.
Moving
It is the
on.
second most popular Game of Thrones fanfiction
That'll
out there.
be your prediction,
Sounds
and
sultry.
I'll go home and sleep. So
Half of it is probably illegal.
And
Yeah.
I also made a comment that it's lovely how Bronn never changes. He's the one character who's not evolved in this whole
Right?
series.
He has
Yeah.
no character
Well,
arc.
'cause
He's
I
still
think-
like,
I think he is the furthest developed character when he shows up. We know he
Yeah.
fights for money.
He's the
2
constant.
hours and
Yeah.
15 minutes, folks.
We're fine.
No, I'm just
It's
catching
just
us
we
up.
did 2.5 hours for 5 episodes. This
Fair
is 7
enough.
and we're almost
And we're
done.
discussing predictions.
That's true.
Calm
Well,
yourself.
wait, hang out for our actual prediction
Yeah.
videos later.
We're gonna do separate videos.
Well, I know, but we have been discussing.
Okay,
predictions.
what else do we have? They meet.
Continue. They
Oh,
meet.
so
Daenerys
is it-
flies in on her dragons.
well, first of all, is it a trap? Nope, it's just her making an entrance, and then Danny upstages her.
Yeah.
And then we get the precursor to Clegane
Yeah,
Bowl.
preview of Clegane
Yes.
Bowl.
Yes.
And then
I must say though, I want to add in there that I think of everyone, Cersei did the best job of looking thoroughly unimpressed by the dragon. It's like,
Yeah.
yes.
And even a couple of people from Danny's camp stand up to look. It's like chill, like a little chill, guys. Like, can you be chill a little bit and pretend
No.
like this is normal?
Well, and I love how, when Cersei finally speaks, I mean, I really wish
Cersei,
her
then
line
fuck off.
was, "You're late."
Yeah.
It's fucking great. There's a meme actually on Facebook that's like, Danny's like, wait, I got caught in traffic. Oh, no, wait, I didn't because I rode on a dragon. Anyway.
I do like the when the Hound brings the white out and he like opens up everything and then he just has that open box and like I know that everyone has done that when they're like, I'll try and be good and catch this like bug with a cup and a paper. And then you have the cup and the paper and you're like, the fuck do I do now? I don't want to let it go. I don't like, and he does that. He's like, I don't, he just looks so upset. Like, he's just like, I don't fucking, take it. Fine, whatever. Like, he's panicked a little bit. He's upset. I like it.
How about Euron and how about Theon and Tyrion?
Yeah, Euron
joke against
instantly-
Euron?
Yes.
Ugh.
And I really bought that Euron was piecing out, honestly. In this
Yes.
scene, I thought
'Cause
Euron was piecing out.
Watching it again, I totally forgot about the little scam. My note is, of course, Euron is a pussy. And then we were reminded, oh, that's right, he's not.
See, but that is so strategically good because now everyone
Fucking
completely
Cersei always coming out on
everyone
top.
completely forgets about Euron now.
Yeah.
Fucking Cersei coming out on top again.
I believe that he was freaked out. He sailed the 14 seas
Oh,
and saw some
absolutely.
weird
It
shit,
was
but then he saw
legitimate.
that and he's like, oh, fuck.
But he still is going to go get the Golden Company and doing
Yeah,
all that
sure.
shit, so...
Yeah.
And then so Tyrion has this big secret negotiation with
Cersei.
I'm just going to add this real quick. A lot of theories online, and I might be inclined to agree with them, are that Tyrion, in that moment, promised Cersei that her son, the child she is supposedly carrying, could be the heir, because Dany has not discussed the succession.
And
so that's why.
The very last moment of that scene between them was he went, "You're pregnant," and then the scene cuts, and then the next thing Cersei comes out and says, "Fine, I'll fight with you."
Which then again leads us into later when Dany and Jon are fucking and Tyrion's outside thinking,
shit.
Oh shit.
Well, no, I don't think he's thinking oh shit, because as far as
his
he
face
knows,
looks kind of oh
Dany
shit.
ain't gonna have a baby. They can fuck all they want.
Allegedly.
So
let's talk. Wait, hang on. Let's talk about what we think when we get to that scene.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, and then I do want to point out that 2 times in this episode,
Emotions.
and
he has emotions.
Tyrion has emotions about the children, Myrcella and Tommen dying.
Yeah. She's talking about bullshit.
I like when Tyrion dares the mountain to kill him. And
yeah.
No, that's
this
twice
happens
in one
episode where her brothers are like, "Fucking let him kill me."
And again, it's leading up from the beginning of the season with Cersei continuously making poor choices. That's why I'm not into her anymore. That's why she no longer has the strength she had in other seasons.
Jon and Dany have a moment in the where they're talking over the skull, and I wrote they're getting close and in smooch vicinity.
well, because Dany is
we're all so on board with this incest.
Well, Dany is realizing that the dragons were what made the Targaryens extraordinary. Without the dragons, she's we're just someone else wanting to be on the throne.
But also, well, I mean, okay.
Well, she said it was the
really
beginning of their
getting
downfall
high.
When they chained him up and stuck him in the dragon pit.
Okay,
then
what else do we have?
Winterfell, Sansa, and Littlefinger. Littlefinger is trying to worm his way in to put a wedge into Arya and Sansa.
And it's the final nail in his coffin that he
is
tries
a ladder.
to convince Sansa to believe something she already knows is 100% not true.
And also, I think
Arya
that, like,
never wants to be
right,
Lady
Arya
of
never wants to be Lady of Winterfell.
No, yeah, that is true. And also, like, when he contradicts himself a little bit when he's like, "What's the worst thing Arya could do?" And she's like, "Oh, try and murder me." And what is Arya trying to do? Make sure the family is safe. Like, make sure that we're not, like, make sure Jon is okay. Make sure the family is taken care of. So why would you, like, that also is a contradiction.
And according to after the episode, it is after this scene where he says she becomes Lady of Winterfell that the scene with Sansa and Bran occurs.
Yeah.
So in the Beyond the episode, they talk about how then when she hears that actual thing, she goes to Bran and says, "I don't know if I believe what Littlefinger is saying. Tell me more." And then Bran tells her everything. Chaos is a ladder, blah, 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 everything that comes after.
Decides to kill him.
Which again brings us back to how incredibly powerful Bran is, not only in the fight against the Night's King, but also in the fight against literally anybody.
Everybody, yeah.
All right, I'm going to knock the next few ones out. Dany and Jon are going to go north.
And they're going to go north.
Cool. All right, Theon and Jon in the throne room and convince Theon to go back after Yara.
That scene was so amazing.
Theon has to forgive himself.
Yeah, Jon forgives him for anything he can, but Theon has to.
And
then
we
Theon
have the fight on the beach, which is so amazing.
But before that, this was the note that I wanted to go back to.
Can't get kneed in the dick.
Is Sansa, do they know?
Well, no. About
so
Theon. Was that, so you said, is he Reek or
Did
Theon?
you really want reaction videos? Because I'm drunk. Go.
Oh, the best way to do
No, you talk.
Finish,
Hush.
please.
Is that Jon says to Theon, "You are a Greyjoy and a Stark."
And I think that's a great callback to Jon. You are a Targaryen and a Stark.
I mean, yeah, it's kind of, I feel like that was the only thing Theon's been wanting to hear. That's why he tried to take Winterfell and do all that, because he felt like a Stark, but no one would ever call him that. And so, I mean, when it's like, was he Theon or Reek? He's both. He is both.
I'm just worried that he's going to randomly become Reek again. Like, I just don't trust him.
No, I think
this is a milestone for him.
I hope so.
This is him.
I think if he's...
And him paying the Iron Prize to take over.
I hope these things
and
with
rescue Yara.
The nothing thrice.
Yes.
This is him, like, fully becoming Theon again, because he gets beaten. And the last time we saw Reek, it was triggered by all the people getting their shit cut out and whatever. Yeah. He gets beaten over and over again, and instead of Reek would stay down, Theon keeps getting up, and then he finally realizes his power as Theon
Yeah.
is that he doesn't have a dick. And so,
That's
like,
He
true.
lost
he
his
gets
favorite
kneed
toy.
in the penis 4 times.
And
the
then
guy's
he
like,
He's
grows
still
some
gonna
balls.
die next season.
Nah. Yeah, no, that's definitely true. Yeah, I mean, everyone is. But
I
that's
think he
fine.
realized that, yeah, if he can save Yara, then everything will be redeemed. He's probably going to die saving Yara.
Okay,
Alright,
moving
So
on.
then we have the good scene, and I kind of like this. Sansa wants Arya brought to the Great Hall, and she accuses of murder.
J'accuse!
She said,
and
you
she
are
then-
accused of...
And then she goes, Littlefinger.
And we
How
all
do you
lose our
bleed,
fucking
Lord
shit.
Baelish? Oh my god, like, and...
I wrote she accuses her of murder. Oh wait, it's Littlefinger. He is shook.
That,
His
that,
little
he
blink.
does
Oh,
his
yeah.
double
Wait,
blink. He's like,
he didn't get a trial by the gods.
What?
He didn't get a trial by combat.
He didn't get shit but a knife around the
He
throat.
got northern fucking justice, but like I was like,
Northern Justice.
well, I mean,
no,
where
she
was
said
this dude?
you
Hashtag
murdered.
Northern Justice.
Because she's like, I saw you murder my Aunt Liza. Do you deny it?
Well, and then
Brand's
and
like,
then
I
Brand's
saw
like,
you betray Ned. Do you deny it?
and Arya's like, I got this knife you gave me,
He got
bitch.
3-eyed justice.
I mean,
Yeah,
But
good
then,
times.
like, and at the end, it's finally like, oh yeah, you betrayed Ned. How would you tell? Like, how do you know I had? And,
Nobody
and
like,
then,
no one
and,
saw it.
and Bran just starts going, oh yeah, and then you said
You held
this,
a knife
and-
to his throat, and he said, I told you not to trust me.
I just
Yeah.
like that the Knights of the Vale are like,
Right?
Real quick too. It took all
Because you know what?
years.
Back then, they believed. I mean, whenever Liza got killed, Sansa told a story about it, but now they're all like, come on, we always kind of believed that Littlefinger killed her, but thank you for
Yeah.
giving
There's
us
so
that
much.
proof.
And for the prediction video, does Arya
No,
take
we're not
Littlefinger's
there yet.
face?
Okay.
oh yeah, we're gonna talk about that in our predictions video. Tune
What
in later.
power does Littlefinger's face have?
Okay, move on.
Sorry.
Okay, so next we have Jamie is like,
Take
all right,
the
we're gonna
sword
do
and
all
veil.
this shit. We're going north to Winterfell, and
he's-
Cersei's like, hang on, bitch, I said we weren't, and he says, bitch, I don't care. Kill me or don't, but you're fucking up.
Oh my
I
gosh!
really
and
thought he was gonna die.
She gave the mountain the nod,
He
and
had
then
a question of why the mountain didn't. She gave the order.
Yeah.
And then the
I don't
mountain
think
has-
she gave him the
did.
order to kill
She
him. I think she
nodded.
said, "Pull your sword out."
Yeah.
How
I mean,
is
she
that not
nodded,
then-
but I
Yeah,
guess she
that was
still
an
needed
affirmative.
a.
Like, do
I don't
it.
know. He
I'm
must
I
have
do
still
too.
needed to do it. I
I
don't
was
know.
confused.
Let's see, and this is where I say Jamie finally picks honor completely
Yes,
over
family.
Whereas, like, at River Run, I mean, yes, he did it in an honorable way, but he was still doing Cersei's bidding. And
There's
this is where it's like, nope.
every time he comes back to King's Landing, he is, we do not
he's like a little
worry
further
about the
away
sheep
from-
or whatever the actual thing is. The lions do not concern themselves with the thoughts of the sheep. And this is the first time where he's like, fuck you, everyone is goddamn sheep. And we're
Jamie-
not going to let them die because you're such a fucking lion bitch. Like,
And-
we're not going to do it.
And Jamie has honor with him at all times because he's got half of ice and he's lost the hand that he lost his honor with. Jamie is always trying to do the honorable
He
thing
would not be
after
where
he
he
lost the
is
hand that
today
killed
if he
his
had
king
lost his hand, or
originally
if he had
with
not lost his
with
hand.
Aerys Targaryen. And as long as he's got half of ice, Jamie still has as much honor as that character can muster at any given
George
moment.
Martin, that is just brilliant writing to have like ice broken down, Ned Stark's
Yeah.
sword broken down, and now it's in the hands of the two people who are actually trying to protect the Stark.
Why didn't they turn it into hydrogen and oxygen?
All right, so we have a couple of, like, big nuggets of the Golden Company.
Yeah.
So the Golden Company is coming because Cersei still believes that
I don't
gold
care
is the
about your
most
big nugget.
powerful thing. So she's
Any
buying
of them.
cell swords. Guess what? Stannis bought cell swords too. And
How'd
once
that
those snows
work?
got high enough, they abandoned him because they're like, I'm sorry, money or no, this ain't worth it.
We ain't freezing our nuts off.
So, I mean, yeah, Cersei has a big army coming, but who knows how long that will last.
All right, and then she also, like, talks about the baby a little bit or whatever. She
The
has
alleged
some of it.
baby, I don't believe in the baby.
Jamie-
All right, and so then
But-
the next thing we see is Jamie and the Snows have come to King's Landing.
That
Yeah.
sequence is so beautiful.
And it also harkens back when they show the scene of the now map atrium, let's
Well-
call it, of like the map courtyard,
Yeah, and so,
and
like, the
that
snow
harkens back to
coming
that
into it.
view of the throne room with like the ash or the snow coming
Yes.
down.
Hey, so think about this. You know, Ed Sheeran's song said hands of gold are always cold, yet Jamie's gold hand melts the snowflake.
Oh. Okay, moving on.
Anyway, and so So then we also have Samuel gets to Winterfell and
Brand
confirms.
compare notes, and
they
Gilly gets
confirm
no fucking
no
credit.
Confirms
fucking
that
credit.
John is not a bastard.
Mansplaining.
He is the legitimate heir to the Iron Throne, and it says that while he has his penis inside Daenerys.
His aunt.
His
It's
aunt.
all happening at the
And-
same time.
And Sam has
And
brought
yeah.
that child into Winterfell.
Oh yeah, the last of Craster's son.
The
No,
second
we're not.
son of Craster.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a predictions
Yeah.
discussion.
Tune in for our prediction.
And then-
Alright,
it's
we
a
get
fact,
okay. So the
actually,
next
but-
things we get is John knocks on the door for some boat. So like I
She
said,
doesn't even say anything. He's
No,
just like,
she
Yeah.
said
hey,
before.
I've
I'm
come
gonna
to
come
present
in.
my penis.
yeah, boat did,
Yeah.
boat pussy.
Hey,
let's
hey,
go.
remember
No,
when you were
ready.
looking at my abs? Would you like to see them
Everybody
again?
drink for
when we-
sex,
When
please.
we were rewatching it, she was like, "We should go together for sure for that boat
Oh,
dip." Like that's what she was
yeah.
looking for.
Absolutely.
What a convenient place.
But
for us
okay,
to
so
make
let's
it.
talk about
Smoosh of
Tyrion's
fire
look.
and ice?
Let's talk about.
Oh,
You had some theories on Tyrion's look.
Tyrion's look.
Well, I mean, I just don't think his. I mean, I think his look is foreboding. I just don't think it has anything to do with like, oh, I hope they don't get pregnant. I mean,
I do.
I mean, I think
because there's nothing out there to doubt Dany's stance. I will not be having another child, other than John.
Yeah.
going,
It could
well, it's just
be-
the witch that told you that,
No,
right?
Tyrion was all like, did they get into the fermented crab? Fuck.
It could be. I mean, as much as we want to read into that look, it could be something just as simple as
They're gonna get distracted.
Yeah, because he was thrown off when Jon stepped forward to Cersei and said, "I've already bent the knee to Daenerys," and Tyrion was like, "Okay, you didn't have to lie to her, but you could have kept some words under wraps."
Yeah.
I think that just may be a thing of. Like, because he's already
Be
warned
chill,
Daenerys.
John. Be
Yeah.
chill,
He's
Dany.
already warned Daenerys, like, when you get involved with someone like this, it's going to throw your game off.
All right.
And,
Go ahead.
And he's made a secret deal with Cersei. He's not told anyone yet.
And that, too.
And anyone who gets involved with Daenerys,
But that's a prediction.
something
The deal with Cersei.
The baby.
we're assuming
Okay,
that he's
go
made
ahead.
a deal with Cersei.
Okay, that's a prediction. So
Well, I mean, that's what we thought at the end of the episode.
yeah.
That's
Yes,
what I
yes,
think.
that were the thoughts that
Yeah,
we
and that's what
had.
I'm saying.
That were
That's
the
what his
thoughts
look
that we
is
had.
about. His look is like, they don't know about this. I've done this, and every time someone falls in love and basically gets involved,
It's just
with
that
Dany,
Tyrion
it
knows that
doesn't end
something
well.
bad will happen
But
from
Cersei
this.
points out that it makes sense you side with her. She's your taste, a foreign whore.
Foreign
like
whore.
nobody's talking about Cersei maybe having a thing for Dany. She does seem to attract men that have O's in their name.
Oh, okay.
Oh!
All right,
So, and then-
what were your thoughts on that?
Jorah.
No,
Did
my
you have
only
something
thing
else to
is
say?
that I feel like I don't know. I'm of the school of mind that we saw that weird cut scene between between Cersei and Tyrion.
Yeah.
So they have that whole moment of, oh, you're pregnant, and then
And
immediately
that's where their scene
afterwards,
ends.
we get Cersei all of a sudden being like, okay, I'm on board. And even though we know that Cersei is lying, Tyrion believes her. Tyrion believes in that moment that he has won that conversation, and the only reason to me that Tyrion would have won that conversation if he promised Cersei, okay, the queen has no intention of naming an heir, we will give your heir the next following.
Oh, I mean, well, but if she told them we will fight for you, but secretly she's like, we're not really going to fight for them, then she's probably going to bring in the Golden Company.
Yeah.
And actually have them slaughter all of the Northern Army. That's
Stay
a prediction.
tuned for
That's a prediction thing.
predictions.
Sorry.
Okay, so
Go
I have
later
a
on.
quick
Can we get to the
question.
wall?
Yeah.
Are we to the wall?
I did 5 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Bran by the tree. He
Yeah,
flies
I
his
wrote.
ravens
So
up.
I wrote Bran by the tree, Eastwatch by the sea, Tormund at the wall.
I would like to point
The
out
thing of nouns.
that in the following scene, Tormund dives over the wall into safety, a safe
It
part
has
of the
been
wall.
Yes,
proven-
that's what he said too, and I was like, I had never seen
Tormund
that.
is safe.
Yeah.
It
runs
has
to
been
the part of the
proven
wall
by
that
the
does not
previews
collapse.
that Tormund and Barry Dondarrion survived.
Yes.
Why do I have
I
a
did
The
picture
most
of him?
recent,
That's
not
an
the most
alarm.
recent, but the one right before it.
I have
The
one
actual
question.
trailer.
So, yeah, the wall burns down. Great. We've talked about that. That's fine. Why do I talk about the prophecy about mountains twice?
What?
Anyone know what the fuck that is? Prophecy about mountains?
No, we're talking about the wall coming down.
When
What
the
mountains?
wall
I
comes
don't know. I wrote it
tumbling down.
twice. It was a nugget.
Were you drunk when you did that?
Yes.
Prophecy
And
about
everyone
mountains.
keeps talking over you. What does it say?
Prophecy about mountains.
Oh, well, I think it's like
The arrow's head?
It's when the sun rises in the west and sets in the east. When the mountains crumble like ash,
yeah.
and the seas.
Oh.
Yeah.
And so if the wall is like a mountain.
If the wall is the
And-
mountain,
Yeah.
and the seas.
Okay.
So Danny needs to be using protection.
I like that. She
Yeah.
lied.
Yeah, well.
All right. So, I mean, there was much debate
season.
about whether the undead Viserion now breathes ice or fire. Like, oh, but if he's breathing ice, how can it bring down the wall?
Exactly.
Dan and Dave had an answer for this.
Dan and Dave.
And the answer was pretty much, well, wildfire is green, not yellow like fire. So it's okay for undead dragon fire to be blue, and it still has the same properties of fire.
Well,
and
it's
Or
not
more
hot.
powerful. I think
a
more
blue flame-
powerful.
A blue flame is hotter than a yellow or red flame.
This
Stay
is
on those
true.
That
fires.
is true.
This is true.
Science.
Well, and then if
Yes.
you ever burn fire hot enough, after it goes blue, it turns white.
Yes.
But
Are we done?
I don't know. I'm hiccuping. What?
Are we done?
Have we finished
I
everything?
don't know.
Yes.
Recap?
Thank Christ, you're
wall-
done.
And then the army of the dead marches into.
Oh,
That
yeah.
was still.
I'm
marches
so
into
freaked
the
out.
north, the
Yeah.
south, according to.
Well, no, but
Quran.
did
It's
you
still
also-
2.5 hours.
Yeah, we've done. a
Okay,
2.5
quit
hour one
pointing
before.
out how long
Okay.
it's been. We know how long it's been. But also the sorry, fine, I'll stop because
No, keep
everyone
talking,
else
keep
is.
talking, keep talking.
Well, no, because the thing is also, have you noticed like that the Night King's dragon moves at a faster
He
speed?
is.
Yeah.
He is.
Yeah.
That's
Also-
like super
Ew.
speed.
I think that's just editing. It's
No,
fine.
no,
Well-
he.
I feel like it's not his first ice dragon.
That's the
Yeah.
editor's
No. It is because it is very simple thing. It's like because we
Holy
just watched.
interesting.
Holy
Wait, what?
shit!
That's
What did you
interesting.
say?
That
What?
it's not his first ice dragon.
George
Yeah.
R. R. Martin even wrote a story called "The Ice Dragon" prior to
Yeah, he
It's
did.
it's but that's not.
It's
to
totally
do with the
different,
Night
but
Well,
at the
he
same
was
But it
flying
could-
that
he's been
thing
around
like
for
he'd
what,
done it
1,000 years?
times before.
Wait,
He's right, there
wait.
could have
First
been
of
a
all,
different
have you
dragon.
read that story?
Yeah. It's,
Okay.
It's totally different, and it doesn't take place.
Yeah,
in
it's
Westeros.
not the same.
But
All
still,
right.
But it's still an interesting idea to think that perhaps the Night's King did have a dragon before.
Okay. I'm not disagreeing with that. I'm just trying to say that no, it's not an editing thing. Is that it is with the dragon's speed. Yeah, it does dive in fast like that, but then there are things when a close up of like showing like Viserion
Right. I
flapping
had a
his
question.
wings, it's significantly different from when we saw Drogon earlier trying to hover in one spot and flap its wings.
well, it's because, and now that I think about it, he's got holes in his wings, and so
Yeah.
you would think that that would work worse. But also, when you have like all the signs that we try and put outside, that when you put a big poster outside, you put holes in it so that it doesn't have quite
It
as much.
catches the wind, but it also
It
allows
catches,
it to go.
yeah. And so that could be like a form of.
Welcome to Nights of the Drunk Watch, where we discuss physiology of ice dragons.
Hey.
I'm sorry, don't get me started on Pirates
The
of the Caribbean,
aerodynamics
Curse
of
of the
the
Black
not.
Pearl.
We're fucking
How-
not. We're
No
not.
one
We're not
is.
doing that.
No
No
one
one's
is.
starting
This
that.
is
So we're
different.
done, and
No,
we're done, and we're
done.
done. So
I
goodbye.
I knew
We're
I was
gonna
guaranteeing.
release you.
Yeah.
We're gonna
Yeah.
release you from this
God,
madness
can
of
you
screaming.
stop this?
First of all, if you like this absolute insanity, please follow us on Patreon. We have a special deal going on right now. We're also
You
actually,
explain the deal.
much to your surprise, we are about to record a whole bunch of other shit.
Wait,
In
but can
case you
explain
don't
the
know.
deal first, because you talked about
Okay, I'm
it?
sorry. So firstly, the deal. Zach, you're sober. Do you want to come talk about it?
Zach,
Yeah.
join us on the couch.
Don't,
Yeah,
we,
join
have
us
to,
on
don't
the
we have to
couch.
talk about the failure
Step
of the
here.
Night's Watch?
No, we need to talk about our
Fair
Patreon
enough.
shit.
Oh God,
Scooch
full
over.
moon,
Yeah,
full moon.
you got it.
All right.
Here's
Got it,
Zach.
yeah.
Hey,
Zach
everybody.
Baxter of the Zach Baxter channel.
Get it in there.
Oh, Lord.
He's
Okay.
97 years old today.
So we have a special. So right now, join our Patreon right now, and you at $1 level, or $3 levels, or $5 levels, and the special offer is you will get a shout out on our social media and be part of our special thanks card at the end of all our videos for Game of Thrones, which will be 6,000 of them because we'll be making tons of reaction
Probably.
videos.
Oh, we also talked about earlier, maybe Zach can make the decision. Our first live chat
Go
will
back
be
or over or
still
something.
free next week.
Yeah.
And
So-
then it goes to the $1 level.
So, There's 3 tiers. $1, you will get the access to our live chats for Game of Thrones. So if you want to talk about Game of Thrones the last season and be live and ask us questions and interact with us for the after talk, that's at the $1 level. The $3 level, you get the perks of the night level. It's the Lord level, and you will also get our
Lord level
Patreon exclusive content. We'll be watching other shows other than Game of Thrones because we're masochists and like to drink 6 days a week. And the 3rd level is the small council level, so you get all the perks of the Knights and the Lord, but you also get access to our Comic Palooza panels. We have 8 panels. Amelia Clark will be there, so there's a big chance that she may jump in on our panel.
We're hoping real hard.
Yeah, we're hoping real hard.
By a big chance would be
Okay.
25%.
So if she does, Mark gets to ask her no questions since he's a doubting
Mark
Thomas.
gets no
He just gets to
questions
sit
to
there on
Amelia
his
Clark.
hands. And so if you are part of our small council level, you'll be able to see that live and maybe ask her a question of your own. So that's totally worth $5.
Yeah,
She totally said
absolutely.
It's a possibility.
Right, it's a delusion.
We
but
are
it's
currently in
it's,
talks about the things we're bringing and all that, so we're
So-
not like low level
and you,
Comic Palooza
and you
people.
also will get our Nights Out series because we do leave the house ever so often.
Every now and then.
Sometimes. So
Most of us live here,
We
but
do lots of fun things.
if you
Lights out, lights
if
out.
you enjoy this free content, go and support us because content is free to watch but not free to make.
It's literally so cheap,
So,
like $5.
$1,
Like
yeah.
it's less than your Starbucks drink. It's
A
less than your
month.
daily
A
Starbucks
month.
drink.
A month. And
So,
you can just
not like every video because
and
we
you can-
put a shit ton of those
you can,
out.
you can just
right?
dump us after Game of Thrones. That's totally fine.
That's
but
fine.
we're pretty exciting,
Yeah,
so
you'll be hooked.
probably
All
want
right,
to follow
let's
us.
sign off. It's been 3
All right.
hours.
God
So,
damn.
We are the Knights of the Drunk Watch.
And
And
now
now
our
our
watch
watch
is
is
ended.
ended. Thank
We'll
Christ.
We'll see you next week,
Jesus
everybody.
God. Thank you for joining us.
Prepare
We're
your
real happy
bodies
to
and
be here.
minds. Drink lots
Sometimes
of
I
water.
forget I have to turn it off.
Dry